Yeah. You already know what it is. Sonik Gemz podcast. You already know it's your boy H1, aka SwimCon, aka Jerusalem Don. We are in the building today. We got a very, very special guest here today.
Special.
Super special.
Hey.
We got my cousin Destiny in the building. I mean, do you go by Destiny? Do you have like a nickname you want to go by?
Destiny, aka Just Destiny. Just Destiny. That's
Just
it.
Destiny.
Almost had me there.
Just exactly.
Yeah.
We got Destiny in the building. We got a female partisan here to actually give us a female point of view. Y'all tired of hearing niggas, so we definitely brought a female on that's going to give you a great perspective, which is what we need. And, of course, we got my man, Mr. D. Milo Flock in the building. Holla at the people.
Joe, what it is, live in effect, live and direct. You already know what it is, beautiful people. You sound like a movie out here.
Yeah, super long intro.
Media ready, baby.
Super long. We appreciate it, Flock. Thank you so much for that rendition of your name.
Right back to our sponsors.
Right back to our sponsors. Speaking about that, we might as well just go ahead and jump into the sponsors. We already know Sonik Gemz podcast sponsored by Young Vets Apparel. Make
Young
sure
vets.
you already know hats, hoodies, scullies, new Young Vets buckets coming out for the summer. So make sure y'all check it out. Young Vets Apparel on IG. Also, Posh Blue Tuxedo Cakes and Desserts if you're looking for amazing desserts, whether it's for weddings, barbecues, wedding showers, baby showers, whatever it is. They will work with you on prices. Posh Blue Atlanta on IG. Make sure you check them out. As well as Beauty and Bow Hair Salon. If you want to get your hair did, your nails did, go ahead and check them out. They do amazing work. You need your front tools, your back tools. I don't even know if back tools is a word. It's totally not, but that's okay. That's okay. It's all good. It's all good. You know what I mean? You get that.
That's in a different field
That's
there.
a whole different thing. I'm sorry, that might have sounded X-rated, but whatever it is, it's all good. You go there, Beauty and Bow. It's in Fayetteville, so make sure you check them out on IG as well. Beauty and Bow Atlanta, Beauty and Bow Hair Salon and Hair Studio. Pardon me. So you check them out as well. So they were all in Sonik Gemz, all sponsored by those great people. So how's everybody doing today?
Amazing.
Feeling good.
Feeling good. That's how was your day? What you do today?
Today, I went to a funeral today. It sounded a little dark, but on the upside, I went to a photo shoot. I had a photo shoot with like some of my homegirls and homeboys, so that was pretty cool.
That's
I have
what's
a
up.
lot, like it's a lot of us, so we kind of hang out. We do the whole family thing, and
Nice.
yeah, so we
That's
kick
what's
it
up.
like that.
Where'd y'all shoot at?
At a park downtown Lawrenceville.
Downtown Lawrenceville.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I was
It's real
that
nice
way
up
really
there.
all day today.
And it was a nice day
Nice.
for it,
Yeah.
too.
It was a beautiful day out there
It
for
was
it.
beautiful.
Gorgeous
Yeah,
day,
nice
gorgeous
weather for
day.
once in Georgia and Atlanta.
For real, we're
Yeah.
finally like settled in. You think the spring is finally sprung, guys? Is it spring now? Like, is it literally spring this
yeah,
weekend?
I
It
think
is
it was
the-
sometime
yes.
this week, right?
Wednesday,
the first day,
Wednesday
yeah.
was the first day of spring.
Yeah.
Sweet, we're springing, guys. I hope
For
you
now.
guys
We
are
got one
springing
more
wherever you at.
round of rain, and then we should be getting back to the good weather again.
Oh,
But I'm not a meteorologist. Don't judge me.
Yeah,
You
he's
know,
not a
Georgia
meteorologist.
does his own thing with the weather, so.
That's a fact, though.
Right.
That is a 100% fact. You know, so that's good. Flock, what you do today, bro?
Man, made some moves, trying to make some extra moves, and then I got some other moves to make after this.
Moves.
Moves.
and more moves. That's all this nigga
Making
do is make
opportunities
moves.
valuable every day, baby.
Bars.
bars.
Say that one more time.
Making opportunities valuable every day.
That's right. That is
Move.
moves for those who don't understand acronyms. And we don't have a Googler, so I can't even tell you the definition. But you should figure it out by now. You should know. You should be grown as hell listening to this anyway. So I wanted to start off the podcast this week just asking a very easy question. Actually, it's not even easy, but I wanted to get your opinion on this.
Okay.
Now, the dating game in Atlanta.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know it's like, it's hectic, but I've heard so many different things, right? So I've heard, for those who don't know, this is Atlanta, Georgia, right? This is where we at right now, but the dating game, like, nationally is, like, pretty shitty from what I've heard from, like, most girls. Like,
Yeah.
it's not really popping or whatever, but I don't
Right.
really know why, right? So in Atlanta, we know that women outnumber men with, like, 58 to 1.
Wow,
It's
like,
really,
yeah.
like, an astronomical
Oh
number
my
of
gosh.
women compared, and there's for a lot of reason. Niggas is in jail, dudes is pretty gay, like it's just a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
So what do you find, like how you see the dating scene out here in Atlanta? Is it really as bad as they make it seem, or is it?
It's terrible. So, like you said, it's like a large population of men to women, right? Or more women to men.
More women to men.
More women to men, but that's kind of the fraction is even smaller because a lot of all of the men are like, I can't say all of them. A lot of them are gay. Can I
Plead
say
guilty.
that? Can I say that on here?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so a lot of men are gay, homosexual in Atlanta, so it makes it very difficult, hard to trust men. You don't really know who's who because some of them it's obvious. Some of them you can look at and be like, oh, okay. Some of them you never really know, but it's so many people like on the down low here in Atlanta, so it's very difficult to trust guys. And if they are, halfway decent, they're married. Like, that sort of thing. So it's really, really hard dating in Atlanta. It's awful, actually. So I don't know. For that reason, like, I can't really see myself settling here. I always tell myself, like, you may have to move to procreate and reproduce. Like, I don't know if it's going to happen here. Like, it's just
But where
really
would you
bad.
go to? Where are you thinking about going? Like, where would be better? Like,
What would be better? I don't know if I can say better. At least you don't have to, like, because I'm from Florida. I didn't really have to, like, it wasn't, every other guy wasn't gay in Florida, at least not South Florida where I'm from. So it wasn't the same issues. Like, it may not be, like here we have to worry about that. And then, okay, like, are you married? Are you cheating? Are you single type of thing? So it's just more to worry about here. I may go somewhere else, and not to say that there's only gay men in Atlanta. You might have to deal with that everywhere. It's just not like a huge epidemic like it is in Atlanta. It's not the same other places.
I've heard the same shit from most single women. They all kind of say the same and have the same, like, complaint. Like, it's kind of shitty.
Yeah,
though.
I've seen
Like,
It's
a couple
horrible.
of videos of them comparing and contrasting and putting their inputs on why they shouldn't date in Atlanta. I've seen a couple of dudes doing the same thing now too.
Talking
Yeah.
about, like, the girls.
I didn't see the whole video, but yeah, for the most part, that's what they were talking about.
But there's, like, an abundance of girls out here. So I would think that would be, like, a lot easier for dudes than it would be for, like, females. 'Cause
Right.
There's, like, a lot more girls to choose from.
To choose from, you would think,
Necessarily,
yeah.
because necessarily.
But on the flip side, you got to also take into account how many of those used to be dudes, because there's a lot of that going on.
Yo!
There's a lot of that going around also, though.
I mean, that's true.
That's
Is
a fact.
true.
It's
Okay.
crazy.
And you can't be
man.
like, yo, as time goes on, these surgeries get better. Like you can't walk up to a person and be like, yo, you just look attractive. Like now it's just like, yo, that doctor did a great job.
You
For
gotta
real.
ask. That's why I tell niggas, ask your baby pictures. I gotta see you as an infant. Like I gotta see you
Right.
as an infant.
Nah, they can
like,
tell you can get a baby picture from anywhere.
Nah, I
like,
ain't gotta
nah,
look
I'm-
like you. I gotta see your mom's. I need blood records. I need
Yeah.
the whole
That's
nine.
Well,
why, yeah,
nine.
we going
The whole nine.
on the north side of Grady. I want blood work.
I need
It's
everything
crazy.
to
You
prove
were
it.
born on what?
It's like, listen, we ain't got no problem with the LGBT, but this is just the reality of it in the world right now, especially in
Yeah.
Atlanta. I mean, we all know. I mean, Atlanta
Nah,
pretty
it's
much
no
is the
beef
gay
or love.
mecca.
Yeah,
They didn't have this
society's
freedom back in the
embracing
day,
that
like-
whole idea more and more,
Yeah.
which is causing people to be more and more comfortable, do your thing. But for the heterosexuals
Right.
out here, it's a little difficult.
And I agree. I mean, I agree. I don't know if there's like a solution. So, like, what do you have to go through as far as like, let's say you find a guy, you're like, I like him. At that point, all right. Let's say you find a dude, you're like, all right, I like him. He's cool. And then, boom, what's the first thought that comes in? Like, do you have like a series of questions that comes into mind? Or are you running a super
Yeah.
background check? Like, what is the process you go through?
Yeah, is
Yes.
the initial intro questionnaire longer now?
Yeah, for real.
No, because I feel like I know right off the bat. Like, so for me, yes. So yes. The questions are different. And really, like, okay, so I'll tell you how it's been for me dating in Atlanta. Boom. So I would meet a guy, and this guy would say something that'll throw me off, and like I'm done. So I could be super picky. That's a possibility. Like, that's a possibility. I could be a little.
real quick, because I just feel like you're hard to please. So what kind of line would just turn you off?
How you got hard to please? Okay, so like.
Like I get it. Like if he just came like, hey, you come here
no.
often.
No.
Like, my
Like,
name is
okay,
Greg.
so but we were talking about being in Atlanta, like
Uh-huh.
a large gay men population in Atlanta. And
Yeah.
so as a woman, we have to be cautious because, like I said, like they'll still approach you. They still will approach you.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I had this guy tell me, like, okay, so we're having a normal conversation. Handsome guy, very handsome guy. And we were speaking or whatever, like, okay, whatever. And he says to me, you have any kids? And I was like, no, I don't have any kids. Do you? He's like, yeah, I have a baby. Oh, that's cute. How old? 6 months. And I was like, dang, she's brand new. Like, what happened? Like, why y'all not?
You just
And
bought
he
it
was
from the
like,
store, nigga?
right. He was like, oh,
brand
like, nah, me and
Still in the
my
rapper.
Right? You know what I mean?
I ain't even taking out the box yet.
that was a problem for me initially, but like, you know, that's
that's
your
crazy.
thing,
Like
that's
if
your
you in the
thing.
club picking up people and you got a 6-month-old baby, like you wow for that.
Yeah.
So what he say when you went to go when you asked him that? Like,
So he told me that him and a woman wasn't together. Him and the lady and the girl, whatever, they weren't together. And so, like, it sounded to me like some sort of arrangements. Like, nah, like, we're not together, never really been together. And he was like, I had to have a baby because I'm 35, and people started thinking I was gay.
So you had to have a baby.
Well, is that something a straight guy would say? Something like, is that something a straight man would say?
Nah.
That was weird to me. So I was like,
one of the niggas
I'm
I
good,
know
like-
for a fact, like that wouldn't even be like a thing.
it's
like,
not even a thought.
Yeah,
And
it's not
so,
even a
like,
thought.
that's the type of stuff,
Like,
right?
that's that's you have to prove to yourself in a sense. Like
Yeah.
He was
nobody
like,
really
I had
cared
to
that
have
much.
a baby because people, and so I automatically was like done, like turned off in my head and like, okay, great.
It was a
He's
wrap.
gay. Yeah, it's a wrap.
Sounded
So I
like
went
he
on
had the
another
clock.
day. I went on this date with this guy, and he was telling me like, oh, let's go down, like let's go in this area because downtown gonna be crazy. They got what's that Pride going on this weekend, whatever. So I was like, cool, like no big deal. But we got to the bar. We went to after we went to eat, we went to this bar, and he was like, yeah, like Pride normally is on this day, but this year's on this day, and like he was just talking about
He
it
knew
and
everything.
talking about it, and I was like,
He knew the layout.
how you know, like how do you know? Like
He
why
knew
do
what
you
day.
know? That was a problem for me.
Right.
Like that was
He
a
knew
problem
what
for
day,
me.
what vendors were
Right,
where.
right. So
You know
I
who
don't
performing
know.
on Sunday. Like
Yeah.
You know where the day
so
brunch
that's the
party
type of
is.
Stuff, like I don't
That's
know.
crazy.
It just rubs me the wrong way. So like that's what I've been experiencing dating in Atlanta. I mean, there's a few cool dudes that I talk to and that I don't have like no type of feelings about. That I don't feel like good conversation, normal guys. But
friend zone.
yeah.
It's all right. It's
Which-
all right.
Which is good.
It's all
Leads
right.
to the next question. What puts a guy in the friend zone? I know a lot of single niggas. Everybody always think they got a shot.
Facts. That is a fact.
I can tell
That
you
is a
one in
fact.
particular. Niggas always think they got a shot. They're like, yo, nah, son.
Yo, when it
You
comes
see the
to
way she was like, she kind of like held her ear when I was talking with her
Yo.
dog. Yo, she loved me, my nigga. I'm like, dog, nah,
that
dog.
confidence booster
Yeah,
be
yeah,
crazy.
It's crazy. And it's like, nah, son. Like, you super in the friend zone, dog. She just had you bring her dog some food. Like, that's it for you, dog. Like, that's it. Like, so
Right.
what qualifies, like, what puts a guy in the friend zone? That's like, what do you think?
I feel like it's all about like chemistry and like energy, that sort of thing for me. I feel like I need to be into you from conversation, like off rip. If I have to try too hard, if I'm not like physically attracted to you, like if we don't connect spiritually or like on the that type of stuff, if we don't have the same values and morals and like that sort of thing, then to the left.
To the left.
Yeah, friend zone.
Friend zone all the way.
Friend zone, that's it.
So how important is the physical portion of it?
It's important to me. I'm not gonna front. Like people be like, "Oh, it's not all about," but I need to be
Nah,
attracted to you.
That's why I asked. 'Cause I hate niggas that say,
Yeah,
"Oh, it's not all about
no.
the looks."
I feel like I need to be attracted to
Because
you.
it's different though, usually for guys like guys and women. Like I've never seen ugly niggas with like beautiful ass women. How does that work? Usually because the guy is like super financially stable
Or something, yeah,
or
along
something
those
like
lines.
that.
Yeah,
so
something.
they're like, well, I'll deal with this nigga looking like a damn sheep. It's okay. So that's kind of one of the things. So, but on a scale of 1 to 10, would looks rate at maybe a 7?
That's fair. I feel like everybody's different. There are people who hard down don't care about looks and feel like it's more so about personality and that sort of thing. Somebody who's not as shallow as I am. I don't want to call myself shallow, but I feel like for me it's high up because I don't know. I feel like I want to be attracted to you. Like
I agree.
Which is natural,
Right.
which is absolutely natural.
I want to
And
be
that's
like,
why I ask, because people be like, "Oh, it's not about looks." I'm like, but you're not gonna go approach an ugly person.
Right. You
yeah.
don't
If you're not,
you don't-
if you look at them and you're just like, they could be the coolest person in the world, but you
Right.
don't know that because you think
You
they're
didn't-
ugly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yo, you don't see a nigga's mind when you first start talking with a motherfucker either. Like,
Like,
He
you're a
the
good
coolest,
person.
You're a good
smartest guy.
person, right.
He could be the plug to your next hustle, but because the nigga is ugly, you lost that spot.
Yeah.
Like that's how it be though.
You gotta be decent at least. I mean, you ain't gotta be too cute, but
You ain't gotta be too cute.
like, you know.
What's too cute?
Too cute in Atlanta is dangerous, man. Like,
That is a fact.
I don't want nobody who think they're
That is
cuter
a
than me.
fact.
Like,
Yo,
you know what I'm
if
saying?
dude is cuter than this girl, that is a
yeah,
problem.
that's a problem for me. Like,
That is
I
a
just need somebody
problem.
average,
Like
presentable,
if y'all
take homeable.
and y'all home fighting over bathroom time.
All right, so looks right have it. So what's the list? Let's say if we had the top 5, right? So looks number 1.
Looks is not number 1 for me.
What is number 1?
You gotta love Jesus. That's number 1 for me.
Number 1 is the love of Jesus.
Yeah, because I need somebody to be able to lead me spiritually. Somebody who got a good head on their shoulders. Somebody who's wise and that sort of thing. And in order to do that, you gotta know Jesus to do that. So that's number 1 for me.
What if he's spiritual, but he doesn't necessarily believe in religions in that sense?
That's not gonna work for me.
That's not gonna work for you.
No, because I feel like there's somebody for everybody, and
I
like
agree.
you know what I'm saying. And the person for me is not gonna be trying, like, you know, he's not gonna disagree with. I feel like there's only one, and so if you can't agree with that, then there would be conflict.
What if he doesn't disagree with it? He just doesn't necessarily partake in that. He's like, you do whatever you do. As far as spirituality, you can believe in Jesus. You can believe. I don't disagree or agree. It's just you do whatever you want. Me personally, is just like he's like, well, I'm more spiritual. I'm not necessarily into one particular faith in saying that this is where I'm gonna base or my beliefs in. Right. But I'm never gonna stop. Even go to church with you. It's like, I'll even go to church with you. It doesn't really matter to me. You know, my faith is in God, and that's just that. Would you be cool with that, or would you not be cool with that?
No, I won't be cool with that.
It's still not enough.
I won't be cool with that. I feel like somebody like you can't be lukewarm. Like, you got to be all in or out, and you can't be lukewarm. I'll just say that. Everybody has their own thing, but for me, somebody who I prefer is somebody who believes in the same thing. Not only believes in the same thing, but can lead me and help me to grow in that faith and guide me. And it's cool when it's just the two of you, but if you guys bring children into the picture, it can be conflict, in my opinion. And so I would like to have somebody who's on the same accord, one accord.
As they say, equally yoked.
Yeah, equally yoked when it comes to religion and faith and belief. So,
yoking it up.
Yeah.
So that's number 1.
Number 1.
All right.
Number
So
1.
yoking it up is number 1.
Yeah.
You got to be equally yoked. What's number 2?
Number 1 provides a good foundation.
Good foundation.
Number two would be, let's see. Number 2. How many we got? How many numbers we got?
5.
5? Dang, 5. I don't even think that far out. Let me see.
You
I
can do
know.
Whatever your top 3 then? You want to do
Okay,
top 3?
all right, let me see. So we're talking about top 3 that I'm looking for in a man. All right, so boom, spirituality would be first, you know, and then number 2 would be someone who is driven. Someone who is driven. Oh, I've left the physical out. So number 2 would be physical.
I'm about to say, I know that.
Yeah, number two would be physical. I don't want to be on the mic lying.
Yeah.
And so number
Somebody
2 would
come
be
up to your
physical.
door like, I'm all of these.
I know, like, I love Jesus and I'm driven.
I got hella swag, nigga. I believe in Jesus, nigga. My pockets are straight. All of these bumps don't mean nothing, baby.
Yeah.
I know, right?
So that's number 2.
That's number 2.
Number 2 is
that's
physical
number 2.
attractiveness.
Yeah, number 3. Let's see. Number 3 would be driven. Somebody who's driven, somebody who's focused, somebody who got a plan, somebody who can lead and guide, which kind of wraps up into number 1 as well, in my opinion. But a man, a leader. That's what I'm looking for in a guy. Yeah, who's funny, somebody who has sense of humor. Okay, that could be my number 3. Is that 3? That's 4 now.
That's 4.
Sense of humor.
Yeah.
All right, so then put sense of humor before driven, because I want somebody who I can have fun with and laugh with, and you know.
I think that can go neck and neck.
Yeah, to be
Okay,
driven and
so
funny.
then yeah,
To be driven and funny.
yeah,
Neck and neck?
Like
Well, I mean,
humorous and
because
whatever.
you're trying to switch them up, you can
Yeah,
you can put them on the same.
all
Yeah,
of
it
that,
could- it
all
could
of
be-
that.
you
A
could
good
see-
personality, a good personality, somebody who's focused and funny, good,
Yeah.
good characteristics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Holy
can
shit,
dig it, I can
guys.
dig
You
it.
guys are fucked out there. Sorry to tell you.
Are you opposed
just
to interracial?
No, I'm not. I'm not opposed. I've never dated a white guy. I've never dated a white guy
Amen.
before.
It doesn't have
I've
to be
dated a
white
Hispanic
It
guy
would- okay.
before. But I'm not opposed. If if he has those qualities, if he's cool.
It wasn't a good relationship.
Nah, it was pretty cool. I was younger then, so it didn't go nowhere like super serious, but yeah.
What year
He
were
was
you
he
born?
was like a little.
I can't ask how old you are.
I'm 29.
Make
I'm
the audience
29.
the audience
Really,
do some
Des?
math. Are you really? Okay.
I'm 29. I know. My
You feel
gosh.
old,
Oh
don't
my
you?
gosh. I'm about to be
Oh
30
my-
in 264 days.
She knows
But
the
who's counting?
exact- 261 days, 48 hours.
Right.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, you're 29. So that's like a beautiful time, actually.
Yeah.
I can
Mhm.
go back to 29 last year. It'd be amazing.
29.
Psych, right?
Good age for me, I think.
It is.
It's a
great
transitional
It's
age.
Definitely.
I
yeah.
tell
Yeah.
people
I was
this all
about
the
to say that,
time.
yeah.
Like, I have this discussion with my, young homies all the time, and niggas think like certain age. I'm like, bro, you haven't even lived life yet. Like, you have no idea until you get to a certain point. Like, you get to them late 20s, them 30s, them early 30s, and that life start to come in. That real life.
That real
Yeah.
life.
Shit,
Yup, facts.
that grind, that shit.
Dang,
Start
this
to
ain't
feel
real
different.
yet.
Nah,
Shoot.
it's real. I think it's real. I think it depends. I think we change every 5 years.
Okay.
Right? This is my personal belief. So I
Okay.
think from a kid when they're born to when they're 5, you start to really see their personalities change. From 5 to 10, you start to see the kid morph, right? I'm going to go down a hard timeline. From 10 to 15 are usually hard ages of growing up, puberty and all of that shit. From 15 to 20, they're in high school. They're like, or really starting to enter college from that end point. So then they're really starting to exercise their freedom. From 20 to 25 is the I don't give a fuck stage. That's what I call it. You never hear that? You've been okay. Everybody here is when you're in your 20s, at 20 to 25, everything is I don't give a fuck. Yo, I don't give a fuck. Yo, this bitch, I don't give a fuck, yo. I don't give a fuck. Yo, you down to do this? I don't give a fuck. Let's go. Yo, you this nigga, I don't give a fuck. It's the I don't give a fuck stage. 25 to 30, you start to give a fuck. That's when it starts to happen, right? It starts to get real.
Them
You
bills
start to be
start.
like, damn, nigga, like, I'm tired. The tired starts to come in. It's like, nah, yo, like, I'm good. You still hang out. You still do your thing. You still swerve out there a little bit. But then them late 20s, early 30s, you're like, yo,
That's when they
you
start
start to have
creeping up
that
on
set
you.
time. Yo, bruh, I'm in bed by 9:30, B. If it's not before that, I ain't doing it. Hardcore rules. You start to put hardcore rules on yourself. That for most people, this is usually how it is. So those are the 5-year gaps. From 30 to 35 is usually a hard grind. So people start thinking differently. Everything changes. Their mood
Right.
changes.
Right.
Because everyone starts to feel, I don't know if they start to feel this clock happening, like internally. Like,
Yeah,
you know
your
what I mean?
mentality's
goddamn.
changing, your body is
Yeah,
changing.
your body's
like,
changing. 30 to 35 is when you start to like really like accept that you're grown.
That's the I ain't got time for this era.
That's the I ain't got time for it
I ain't
era
got time for this, man. I'm out.
at all.
That's it.
Yeah.
35 to 40,
Dang.
you're
35 to
set in
40.
your ways. You're like, yo, look, I don't do this. I'm just letting you know, and no one has time to there's no time to bullshit at all. Them last 5 years, I don't have time for it. This is what I do. This is where I'm at. Either you with that or you not. That's it. So you're at that end point.
I'm feeling that.
And it's
I'm
good.
feeling
It's
like I'm on
grown.
that cusp.
Yeah,
of that
it's-
30, 35
That's
mark.
right. It's grown shit
Yeah.
at that point. You know what I mean? It's super grown. And I think it's a sexy part of life. I think it's great. You know what I mean? Times have changed though. Times have changed.
In what way? What you mean by that?
Like as far as like what kids are doing now in their 20s, you probably would never you're probably not even into that shit. I don't know if you were ever into that shit really. Like kids are in a whole
What now?
different wave
What do you mean?
now.
Like what?
Like it's just different. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like when I was in my 20s, like we used to. First of all, I was wild, so I can't even say much. Like I was just a wild nigga in my 20s. It was a whole different ball game. But I feel like
For
these
one
kids
thing,
now
we
are
ain't
like,
have all this social media access.
Yes, exactly. It's different. The access is different.
Yeah,
Perfect.
we
Thank
didn't
you,
have
Flock.
none
The
of this.
access
None of the
is
Facebook.
different.
Even before MySpace,
Yeah, yes.
we was on the block. We was in the street.
Exactly. There was more privacy in life, and you was cool with that. Now it's like people want people in their business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to know what you ate today. I'm like, this doesn't even make sense.
Oh
But the
my God.
world is all about posting things and keeping up and being current and showing people this life that people live. And I feel like it's just a way like too much. But that's just the way that it is at this point now. So it's just a bit different in the landscape. So that also makes dating differently. Would you date a guy that posts on Instagram every 5 minutes?
No.
Very good. There's niggas that are like that. Every 5 minutes they putting up a picture of some stupid shit or some damn whack ass quote.
Cool.
It
Look at my
depends. I
plate.
can't say no.
Look at
Like,
my drink.
period.
Unless he's like, okay.
If that's his job, if he making money
true,
from it,
if he's making money from
Right.
it,
That's
he's like
his
an
hustle,
artist or
yeah.
something.
yeah, then
But
that's
if he
different,
just-
if
right?
he's okay.
But I'm
Just
not trying to
'cause-
see selfies up and down your page. Like I'm not.
How you feel about male selfies?
I can't. I don't like it.
Nah,
You don't like male selfies?
I don't like it.
Hold on, though.
I mean, like
So for
to a
nigga-
certain. I have people ask me for my Instagram. Like that's the new thing. Like, hey,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
what's your Instagram? I'm like,
yeah, that's the new
what?
wave. Even with business, they be like, "Yo, what's your Instagram?" Like, I got a
It's
number.
So, it's not how it used to be.
I got a number.
That's a
It's
fact.
different. It's different.
That's a fact. So do you? Oh, that's a good question though. Do you give out your phone number or do you give out your IG? Because that's what
If
the
I'm
wave
interested,
now.
I'll give you whatever you ask me for. Oh,
Hey,
Mic check, 1 2 1 2.
Good.
Hey.
What's up with
wait
that?
a minute. Okay, all right. That was a broad statement. I mean, if you're asking me for my Instagram or my phone number, let me be clear. Yeah, then if I'm interested, I'll give you whichever.
Let's
If
be
I'm not,
clear.
then I'm not on Instagram and I don't give out my phone number.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which is okay. So
which is I guess because you said you'll give out whichever. Which one? If you give out your number, you want them to hit you up even more, or is the Instagram? Just
Yeah,
like
no, I think if somebody asked me for my Instagram,
Like the Instagram is like
I'm
alright,
not really
you
like-
in, I'll fill you out, but the phone number is the VIP club. Like
Yeah,
alright,
that's
I
when
fuck
you- that's when you in there.
I'm pretty much putting you in the friend zone if you ask for my Instagram because it's immature to me.
Mhm.
It's immature, so it's one of those things like I figure out like your
Some of these
maturity
people
level.
from the
how-
generation don't know what.
well,
that's
it ain't. Then
immature.
you're not, yeah, then
Like,
it's not. For
that's
me.
what they know. Like most of the generation
Yeah.
is all social media.
It's a thing. It is a thing, but like I was talking to this guy, we was really cool, like kicking it for a while or whatever, and I actually connected with him through Instagram. And so I'm not knocking it, but I'm not really wanting you to approach me, ask me for my Instagram because I don't know. It's just
Nah,
immature.
I
to me.
feel
Like
you,
I don't
'cause
know.
I
It's just,
feel weird. Like Instagram.
yeah, that mean I mean like what are you gonna do? DM me? Like you know what I'm saying? Like,
It go down
Hey.
in the DM.
yeah,
Hey,
I'm not really feeling that too
hey.
much. So.
So that's
I remember back in the Skype days. Yo, Skype me.
I
Just
used to
people in
Skype.
general.
You
Like,
use Skype too?
Not in that way, like, oh, what's up? But I used to Skype people for sure, like friends
Nah,
and stuff
see?
like that.
H be taking it too far. He be thinking when you Skyping, it's web videos of yourself. doing
Right,
shit
yeah, no, not like that.
nigga.
It's a
No,
fact, though.
nigga, get your.
It was for me if I was.
Nah, when I used to talk to people back
Let me
home
see
or
some.
other places.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on over there? Like, you good? I'm good too. What's up?
That's crazy.
Like, what you got on that white for me though?
Yeah, they feel like she's like, so you always Skype with a robot? Yeah, I do, actually. I do always
Y'all
Skype with a
wild.
robot.
Y'all
So-
Always Skype with a
always Skype with a robot and baby oil.
robe in a pipe. Like,
A rope in a pipe. That's how we roll. That's how we roll. Wow, so it's a lot. This generation is like so much going on. Like,
It
you know
is.
what I mean? It's like difficult. I think a
Generation
lot
is
of the
crazy.
times. Yeah, like to date, I can imagine how dating out here is like nuts.
It's crazy. So I'm 29. Y'all think I missed my mark?
What mark?
no.
Like y'all think I worry about this sometimes. Like I really do think about this. Like I'm 29. Y'all are both married. Did I miss my mark?
No.
Like that's a genuine question. Like
No,
don't
like,
think
but
you
when
made
you
a
say,
mark.
like,
I mean,
what is the
like in
mark
terms of
exactly?
like expecting because okay, so we were talking about this generation being on Instagram, which I'm not into, or this generation just not really like men are different nowadays. Like men don't really put in the energy and the effort to show that they're into you anymore like how they used to. And so now I'm 29 and I'm thinking like, dang, am I ever gonna find somebody who's like old
On your
school,
level.
like yeah, like you know what I'm saying, like on my level, like because
No,
really,
I don't
I
think-
be thinking like all the good men are taken, like dang.
Well, I mean, but like you said,
Possibly.
you're 29. So like you said, this is not your end game, and you're just getting into your field of work, your career. So
Right.
you got to go through the steps before you can jump into other phases.
Right.
So right now, all you're doing is setting yourself up for that opportunity. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're ready for it, then he got to be at a certain standard.
Yeah.
But I don't think you missed your mark at all.
Nah,
You
That's
just-
good. That's
it
reassuring.
happens.
I don't believe in that missing the mark
For
thing,
everybody,
too.
it happens differently for everybody. Everybody has their own time frame for it.
Yeah.
Trust me, look, and I'll be
But
honest.
you
like,
are way before missing your mark.
son.
Like,
Let me
fact.
tell you, look, wifey had to wait a minute before we got married. We were together for 9 years before we got married. There's no, it's like, it's always a minute. Guys will always take a minute. Let me just let you know that. Like, there's some guys who like quick with shit. Like, most guys really kind of slow pace it a little bit. So there's no such thing as you missing some mark. There
Right.
not
Right.
You know what you want. That's what you're gonna go after. That's it. You know what I mean? It's not difficult. I just think because your standards are not unrealistic. There's people that have unrealistic
Yo.
standards
Yeah.
from dudes. Like I need him to make I need him to make 6 figures. I need him to be 6'5". He has to drive a Lamborghini. You know all this and think like a man bullshit. Like this is not real. This is not realistic.
Right.
So there's no such thing. But you should never feel like you missed the mark. There is no mark. You know what I
Ooh,
mean?
I'm
Like it
like,
doesn't
oh my
really
gosh.
exist.
Nah, ain't no-
Where these men at?
So
I need
are
to
you
get up
are
out
you,
of Atlanta.
are
like,
you
this is-
feeling like it's taking too long? Moreover,
So I have a couple. I have mixed feelings. I have realistic type of humanistic feelings as a woman, like that I'm wanting somebody long term. That type of thing. Somebody to settle down with, that sort of thing.
Starting to feel those blues.
Right, you know what I'm saying? But then I have this like my spiritual thought process, which is, focus on you, focus on the kingdom of God, and just taking your time, and those things will fall into place when your priorities are in order and that sort of thing. Not to rush it, and if it's meant to be, then it will be according to like his will and on his time. And so I try to keep that in the forefront of my mind so that it, I'm not going crazy.
not going
like,
crazy.
yeah.
Oh, at this
there's
point,
no
Yeah.
perfect. There's no perfect nothing in life.
no.
There's never a perfect like. I mean, I don't think anybody's waiting. I don't think you're waiting for some perfect dude or some guy that's gonna come along on some white horse. It's like, hey, Destiny, I believe in Jesus. I'm super saved. I drive a Cadillac.
The Prince Charming.
I'm Prince Charming. Like
Yeah.
that shit doesn't really exist.
No,
I'll be honest, when it comes down to dudes, and this is the thing that I don't know if women know about guys, like guys are houses, and we're all fixer uppers, and women got to come do the patchwork. You
Dang.
get it? There's some houses that are beyond repair.
I don't know if I
And
can
then-
just put that on men though, because everyone's a fixer-upper then, if in that sense.
That's true.
That's
No,
true.
I
So
agree.
then you're
true.
both waiting on each other in order to fix-er-upper.
Right, so
fix each other.
fixer upper
Like,
each
you know
other.
what I'm saying? Yeah,
Fixer
like,
each other.
Fixer each other upper.
yeah.
Fixer each other upper. That's true. But men in general, I think we look for. I think that's one of the attributes that we look for. Is like because we have so many holes in the concrete and the what you call this shit, the sheetrock.
sheetrock.
You know what I mean? The toilet may not flush properly, but it's still still the house is pretty decent.
Yeah.
You just got to patch
Foundation
it up a
is
little bit,
strong,
add
yeah.
a couple flowers and shit like that, and then the house actually changes into a beautiful home at that point. That's the reason why women make houses homes. Like you don't got just baking soda in your crib, sleeping. We ain't sitting on crates.
Oh, you got a couch.
You know what I mean? You
Right.
got a
You
couch,
got a
my
couch.
nigga. You got a whole
On your
woman living
walls.
here. You
Right.
got pictures. Niggas don't hang pictures up. None of these is me. Look behind. None of these is me. I'm in all of them, but I didn't
You
put
gotta-
none of these shits up. Wifey put all of these pictures. If it was up to me, this house would be bare as shit.
You
'Cause
know the
guys
joint-
don't
you
need
know what
much.
I put up in my little corner in my house? I got Biggie, all the greats on my little
Right.
corner of the wall.
Right.
And that's about it. My plaques for the magazines we dropped in the
Yeah.
first mixtape. That's all I got on my little corner wall.
Yeah.
Other
After
than
that-
the rest of the walls is all wifey. I ain't got nothing to do with it.
That's what I'm
The
saying.
colors of the walls, she picked.
That's it. And that's what
Yeah.
women do for us, for guys. And that's like.
Niggas would have had a futon for a bed.
That's a fact. Niggas would have slept on the floor like I'm good. I really need
Yo,
a bed
Ma.
and shit.
Yo, Ma, what up? Click, 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 clack.
You know what I mean? I really need a bed and shit.
We dropped this futon on real quick.
You know what I mean? That's how we roll. Click, click.
Click, click, clack.
That's a fact, though. That's a fact.
You ever had a futon and wouldn't come back up?
That should be hard as hell, son. All of a sudden, it's like
You hit all the
4,000
click, like,
pounds.
click, 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 click,
All of a
click,
sudden, it
click,
rusts
pop.
automatically. Shout out to all the futons.
Shout out to the futons,
What's
man.
up, futon?
What's up, futons?
So, okay. Are you opposed to approaching?
Yes.
You don't do the approaching. So
Nah.
if you see something you like and you obviously he's not making a move,
Good
then
question.
it's just
Yeah.
Very
lost.
good question.
No, it's not happening.
So you're not approaching any
I'm
guys,
not
even if
approaching
you
no
like him?
guys. No, I'm
Why?
not approaching no man because, okay, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I don't want to show a guy that I'm more interested. I would like for a guy to be interested in me. What I will say I would do is say, hey, how you doing? Maybe start small talk, but I'm not about to be like, yo, what's your number? Like, I think you look good. Like, I'm not doing all of that. Like, it's just not. That's like, would a woman propose to a man? Some women would. Would I? No, it's not happening. Like, I'm not doing that. I feel like there's a place for a guy and there's a place for a woman. Like, here we go. Like, I'm speaking spiritual, but a man is gonna find his wife. I'm not supposed to be looking for no man. Like, and so I feel like I'm out of place when I approach a guy. It's just out of order, out of line.
So you'll break the ice, but you're not gonna be.
I'll break the ice. I'll say, hey, we can have a good conversation.
Because for some guys that's what they need.
That's true.
A lot of niggas is shy. Really,
That is very.
like
that,
nowadays
that's
you
right.
don't really like. It's hard to tell if being civil is a good thing. Some girls might find that to be weak.
It's
They might-
unfortunate. That's unfortunate because women I feel like women mold men. Like we was talking about whole fixer upper thing. Women mold men, and so what we accept is what they kind of become. And so now that we're accepting the fact that men not holding doors anymore and men not like we're cool with it. Like it's kind of a thing. Like men not doing that anymore because we're not requiring them to.
You're not requiring.
Right,
them to do
right,
it.
right.
So you're not all right. So there's no approaching. So you do small talk, but as far as approaching a guy and letting him know how you feel,
Not happening.
you're not with the shits. basically.
Not happening.
Not
You're
with
not
the shits.
You're like, nah, I'm good on that. Even if you really like him.
Yeah, even
Well,
if I really like
she won't
him.
know
Even
if
if
she
you
really
really
like
like
him if he ain't gonna say nothing.
Right, yeah. Like I was like, I don't know if we'll ever get to that point because I'm not saying nothing to nope. I'm not saying nothing. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a people's person, so I can easily spark up conversation like, hey, what you into? What's going on? Da da da. But that's as far as it's gonna go for me. Either he's
But you're
gonna
not
be
gonna
interested
you're not gonna break
enough.
the ice with just anybody. You gotta look like something.
Yeah, you gotta look. Like,
Right, you can't be no ugly nigga.
you gotta look like something. Yeah.
Right, you gotta
So
look like.
initially, because of course it's gonna be physical attraction. What is the first thing that catches your eye?
Let's see.
Right now the wave is what, beards?
Yeah, it's beard gang.
Yeah.
Beard gang. Are you part
yeah,
of the
I
beard
am.
gang?
I am a part of the beard gang. Please.
Beard gang.
Please have a beard. That would be great. But yeah, nice teeth, smile, their eyes. I'm really into eyes and teeth. Those would be my things. Yeah.
So
yeah.
you better not be cross-eyed. You better have straight teeth.
What about clothes? You want him to know how to dress.
That'll be nice. I mean, that's nothing you can't fix and change. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like, but it'll be nice. I'm not, as long as you're decent, I mean, presentable. You're not out here looking crazy with your pants to the ground and all that other stuff.
No pants to the grizzle.
Nah, please
Alright.
don't.
Okay. So no approaching. I wonder how many other. I'm guessing most women feel this way. Like they're not going to approach.
I hope so.
Like to approach men. I had this conversation with a homegirl of mine like years ago, and she was like, she doesn't initiate when it comes down to guys, like nothing, not even approaching them, even if she's like super attracted to this
Right.
guy. And I'm like, I asked the same thing you asked. I was like, well, what if he's like shy? What if he's afraid to approach you? She said, well, if he's afraid to approach me, then he's not for me then.
Right.
And I'm like, but guys also get intimidated.
Mm-hmm.
See, guys don't know a lot of the times what's gonna work. So we're like, damn, what I got? All right, yo, I like Des. What am I?
I know, right?
I gotta say something. I can't
say
say. I
how-
mean, and you're
how
like,
was your
hey,
day? Nah, I just said
and
that,
they're
man.
like, hey, have you?
How many
know,
times I'm gonna ask her how they was?
You know what I mean? Right. How many times am I gonna do that? They start saying random stupid shit like, so,
Mhm.
you read, Revelations. Like what?
But
Like,
the
what are
same
you
thing goes
talking
for the
about?
female. I feel like if a guy hasn't approached me, that's for a reason. I'm not going to just be like, I'm going to shoot my shot. I feel like in that scenario, somebody has to be the braver, more courageous person. Who is that supposed to be, the woman or the man? Who's supposed to be more brave, more courageous, more like, who's willing to take that step?
Whoever's not afraid of rejection.
Okay.
Everyone
it doesn't
is
have to be about rejection though, because I feel like, in my opinion, like,
well, in a sense, it is.
either way, it's about rejection. Like, okay, let me backtrack. So somebody has to be brave and courageous, and that comes down to rejection. So in the same way, I see an attractive man across the room, and I'm afraid of rejection, and he sees an attractive woman across the room, and he's afraid of rejection. Who's supposed to be the bigger person, or who's supposed to be the one to like overcome that or be more brave and courageous? Like
the man.
I said,
I give it to the guy.
Okay, so in the
Give it to
same
the guy.
right, I understand that men are also like, men have their ways or emotions about being shy, and that's cool, but me too. Like, and so if it comes down to that, like,
So are you shy?
I'm not shy. And so that's why I said I'm willing to spark a conversation, because I'm not shy. I'm not a shy person, but I'm not trying to have no man tell me, nah, I'm good. Like, what? Like, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Has
to
that
me.
ever happened to you though?
No,
Cuz?
because I've never approached a man. That will never happen to me. That'll never, because you know what I'm saying? Like,
The curve sucks.
what?
Does not feel good.
The
No.
curve hurts. Like when you think you lit. I'm telling you. When I was out there in them streets, like, man, the approach, like, there be days when you feel like you on it. Your kicks is fresh. Your fitted is nice. You're like, yo, for some reason you had a great day. The confidence is through the roof.
Yeah, you
can
feeling
talk to any
yourself
girl,
all
you
that
bagging
junk.
her.
Yup.
Then there's days when you're like, I'm good. Like, yo, the rejection from girls sometimes is intense. It's hard.
Yeah, granted,
what
to
I mean?
popular belief, niggas are sensitive.
They are.
And I'm a Cancer. They call me this shit all
Oh
the
my
time.
gosh, I can't say no.
See,
It
look,
hurts.
already.
Yeah.
Niggas is sensitive, period. Doesn't matter what sign you are.
I'm telling you, and it's like, yo, the rejection
but we
is
just,
like,
we just holding it a lot better than most.
yeah, because you're just like, man, if she dissed me and I really want to talk to her, I
But
don't
it's
want to
fucked
sound
up. That's
whack.
what we go to. Like, hey, man, how you doing? No, thank you. Fuck you then, bitch. I ain't gonna let her see that, man.
You know what I mean? Sitting there crying
I
and
know,
holding it in.
Their voice start crying. Like, it's all right. I ain't want you anyway.
Dang, so it's really that bad? Is it
The
really
curve
that
from a
bad?
woman?
Curve from a woman?
I mean,
woman
what
is
if
like
it's
that.
gentle? What if it, because I'm not one of those like however, I'm not gonna say all of that, but like, I'm not gonna harshly let you, say, nah, I'm good.
So what is your version of a letdown?
I would just kindly say
No, kindly say,
that I'm not interested.
curve.
Super curve.
Curve.
Thank you.
I'm not
I
interested.
appreciate the conversation. But I mean, dang, y'all gotta be willing to like, I
Listen,
can't say
you
nothing
gotta-
or it's too harsh.
You gotta take it like he about to go commit suicide.
What
after
would
that.
what would
Like, you gotta be slow. Like, listen,
that is
have a
so-
seat. Let's talk about this for a second. How you feeling, by the way? You all right?
Yeah.
So let me tell you why this is not gonna work.
I
Ease
don't
him
think-
into that, but no, thank you.
It depends on the scenario. If it's set up that way, then great. If we're at a bar and you came and sat next to me and we were just talking and you say, hey man, I'd like to have your number, and I'm like, I'm just here to have a few drinks, but we could talk. Like, if it's set up that way, if we're in the mall and we're just walking past each other and you like, hey, excuse me, and I'm like, oh no, thank you, then it's not set up for me to let you down easily. But it kind of depends on the scenario.
You're right.
But I mean, I try to have respect and understand that everybody's human. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm not interested, I'm not gonna like waste your time either. That's whack. That's whack to me as well.
Yeah, I think at a certain level, I mean, I think you get to a
That's-
certain
that's
point when you
noble of you.
realize it's not really a curve. Some people are just not for people. She may not find you at that point. You may
That
not
the
be
vibe,
what she's
the
looking
vibe,
for. The vibe
just
wasn't
not
right.
click. That's all.
Yeah,
that is,
and then
yeah.
I've seen some guys
that
that are
happens
just
to-
persistent. Like persistence, like wins a lot. I see some guys that are just like, nah, she rejected me today. Come back tomorrow.
Come back tomorrow.
I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna spit some whole other game. I've seen niggas beat up other niggas to try to get the girl's attention, and she still curved them. Like, I mean, you beat the nigga up, true. I mean, it was cute.
Right.
Still, I mean, I still don't like you.
I knew. Emphasize on knew because I cut him off when I found out. He snaked all his mans out so he could be one of his people's girls.
To be with
crazy.
his homie's girl?
Yeah, he snaked him out there. Yo, but he be doing this, he be doing that. He be, I'm like, oh shit.
That's
How
crazy.
would you feel about that, Des? That's a very good question.
Like, that was.
If a guy approaches you, right? Let's say you got a homegirl and she's dating a dude, and he's like, you know, he starts talking bad about the girl, your homie, to try to talk to you. Would you talk to him? But let's say you found him attractive. Let's say you liked him on the low.
No, I would never.
You would never.
I'm talking about homegirls that dated niggas back in like high school. I was like, they're still like a no go.
Woo! So girl
That's
code is
loyalty. Yeah, I mean
so
like
once your homegirl dated somebody, off limits forever.
period. It's funny because I was talking to one of my homegirls and she was like, we were talking and she was like, oh, you seen this guy? I'm not gonna say names, but oh, you seen this guy? And I was like, yeah, like, dang, I was wishing that you like, dang, you already talked to him, so he off limits, but dang, I wish you didn't. He looked good. Like, you know, yeah. I mean, it's here nor there because she's dating and whatever, but it's a no-go for me.
But what if she's like, I don't care if you talk to him?
Nah, it'll still be weird for me.
Why?
I don't know. It would just be like
because he's been with
he's
someone
already
that you
been
know?
with somebody who I knew. Yeah,
it's too close to home.
It's so yeah. It'll be a little awkward, like to bring them out, especially if like you dated this person and now like all of my like we have mutual friends, and so you said it's cool, but all of our friends still kind of knew that you spoke to him, like you used to talk to him first. That's just weird to me. Like, I don't know. They're going to be like, oh, Destiny's talking to this person, but
right, like
this person used to talk, like, you know.
Such and such, I get it.
Yeah, nah.
I'd be scared of that pillow talk. Like, I don't know what you said about me in the bed.
That's a fact, though.
Whenever the personal topics come up with your significant other, they be knowing all types of secrets.
That's a fact.
Crazy.
But I knew guys that did that, though. I knew plenty of dudes that dated dudes that dudes dated.
Wait a minute, you said too many dudes in that.
Yeah, like,
I know dudes that dated. I knew dudes that dated chicks that they dudes dated.
There we go.
Okay, but it's different from men. Y'all don't care as much. Do y'all care?
I do.
I do too.
You care?
Yeah. I can't do that. Like,
I can't do it either. Son.
That's good. Y'all some good men then. That's what's up.
But I know guys that just didn't really matter. They're just like, well, they dated, so what? You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with where she's gonna end up later on in life. It depends, though. It does depend. It does depend. Like a week, like if you was trying to talk with Shorty and y'all ain't really click, it didn't really click.
Yeah, but
then
if you my man's and it was a week and it didn't work out. If I see her next day because I knew you was feeling her or used to deal with her, that's off limits to me.
I gotta talk to you. I think it depends. This is my belief. I just think it depends. It depends how deep the relationship. Y'all were just talking. Like, y'all didn't really get nowhere. Like, it was just like, I'm talking with her. We went out on a date. Maybe we went out to go get some drinks. And the shit was like, nah, that shit wasn't popping. I'm going to be like, yo, Flock, you spoke to Shorty? Yeah, that shit wasn't really popping. Yo, it was cool if I, like, holler at her. Like, I'm cool. I'm feeling her. You know what I mean?
Dang, that conversation is even weird.
No, because a lot of times, if it's a rap, like if the dude is like, I don't even care, like I don't even like her either.
Right,
you know what I mean? Like it didn't work out. Like it can't be like I was really feeling her.
Right,
and it didn't work out.
Yeah.
You gotta be like, nah, it didn't work out.
You know, niggas be front.
Niggas do be front because niggas are territorial.
It could be a week and then be like, she was whack, and then deep down they be like, she let me go, man. She said I wasn't it, guy.
She said I wasn't it, so now you're it?
So now you're it.
Like, no, that is he got one on me now.
So now, and then now, like, if it works out for you, now you got to bring her to the house, and I got to be like, this bitch face. I'll be in my room.
Right, let me know when she leaves.
Yeah, you know when she leaves. It's like, bro, come on, bro. It didn't work out.
I'm taking the Xbox in the back.
Yeah, you know. But I think you're right. I think a lot of the times there's girl code and guy. But
like you said, it depends on the scenario. If it hasn't been that long, and if Shorty approached you, then like, yo, I just don't see myself being that person.
I think you got to have the conversation, though. I think you can't just do it and not say nothing.
Right.
Like, you can't just show up to the party with Shorty and you're like, what's up?
I don't know. You definitely got to have it.
My baby.
And you plan on going that route.
Yeah,
you
you
definitely
can't-
gotta have a
'cause you
combo.
might
You
get
show up
punched
to
in
my
the
party
face.
with my
Right.
ex chick punching you dead in your face.
They get punched dead in the face. This is all principle. You should.
You still invited, but I'm gonna punch you in your
Yeah.
face.
And you still my man's, but like you got an issue. You know what I mean? But then that you gotta have the conversation.
Yeah,
and I think
especially
that's
you my
that's
man.
man
I
code.
just
girl, that's
cursed.
man
I just
code.
vented to you about this joint. You just walk up in here with
Right.
Yeah, like you're my bad son. You say you didn't wanna. That's how niggas thought.
Give me a heads up or something.
Yeah,
nigga.
you gotta
Right.
say something. So what's girl code? There's guy code and there's girl code, and a lot of the codes are the same.
Right, pretty
But
much.
what
But
is
when it
girl
comes to
code?
what we're talking about right now,
Yes.
I feel like just now you had one opinion and Flacco was like, nah, like I'm not doing it. So it may vary from women to women. Some people have different standards and morals. For me, period. Like if you've dated them, talked to them, anything, like I'm good.
It just feel weird, like just the association. Man.
Totally off limits.
Like,
Yeah. I feel like that's girl code. It may vary for somebody else. Somebody else may have the same opinion, like, but y'all was only talking. Y'all didn't even date. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that may be somebody else's girl code, like, amongst their folks. But everybody who I know, chicks that I've dealt with, like, people who I mess with, is pretty much period, I think, across the board.
Yes,
For
sir.
us, anyway, yeah.
I got a good question. We're gonna get into some meat and potatoes right about now. Sonic Gemz, you already know what it is. Protein time. What qualifies a woman as a hoe?
Ooh.
We hear the word tossed around a lot, especially in hip hop culture. We say it. She's a hoe. She's a hoe. Is it the amount of men she's been with? Is it how she acts? What do you think qualifies? Or do you even think that anybody qualifies? Do you think that that's something that's non-existent? Or do you feel like there's some women that qualifies? That, like, what do you think qualifies a woman? Is that, or does it not exist? What do you think about that?
Okay. So, I think that some women are more fluid or flexible, or I don't even know the word to use. Like, some people are more willing. Some women are more willing and out there, and that kind of, in my opinion, qualifies them. Oh gosh, that's so harsh. But I mean, if we're talking about definitions, right?
Right.
In my
Destiny
opinion, I
is
think
so
that's
nice.
I'm
Like,
trying.
do
It's like trying
I'm
so hard
trying,
to
like-
not diss y'all bitches. I'm letting you know right now.
Right, like, yo.
Y'all be hoes out here. She don't want to let y'all know.
Listen,
But
we got
because
your
I'm going to
back.
let
Don't
y'all
worry
know
about
right
it.
now.
If they want
Yeah.
smoke, let them have it.
Yeah,
Nah,
they
I mean,
know.
I do feel as though some women do too much out here, and I feel like some women do too much. Like bounce from. This is a good point though. Like bounce from man to man without any like commitment, and it makes it harder for women who have higher standards, because then guys kind of expect that from women, like, or treat women as such, as, you know, other women that they encounter. It's like a huge thing with this generation, in my opinion. But what classifies a woman as a hoe? Then I would just say just dating around with too many men without commitment, in my opinion, would be the definition.
Dating around with too many men without commitment. What you think, Black?
Dating, that word is not good. Sexually involved with many men without commitment, because there's nothing wrong with dating multiple men. That's the point of dating, kind of getting to know and seeing, like, you know, who fits you, like who, you know, stacking up standards, like this guy does this guy doesn't, or whatever, seeing who is right. Right. So it's nothing wrong with dating and courting and all of that stuff, but being sexually involved and you know, presenting yourself as less than a queen or a woman, in my opinion.
Bars. Talk
Bars, super bars.
bars. Talk to him, Queen.
Oh my God, we clapping right. I'm clapping that right there, and I'm less than a queen. You heard that? That's a fact, though. What you think, Flacco, my brother? What you think?
It's a combination of things. I mean, just how she presents herself, her like she said, her sexual activities with X amount of people, like and of course, how private are you about it? If everybody know your business, then yeah, there's kind of a hoish activity there, buddy.
Amen, my brother. I always had this thought process, right? It's gonna sound crazy. Y'all watch the Cosby Show? I always had this. I had this theory. Anyone who's watched the Cosby Show, we all love Claire Huxtable. Claire Huxtable was Mama Huxtable. She was a lawyer. She was lit. She never, she never showed too much skin. We all loved her a lot.
Hardcore.
And she was hardcore.
Sweet as she was hardcore.
She was hardcore. Okay. She married Cliff Huxtable. What if before she married Cliff Huxtable, she slept with like 18 niggas?
It depends on the time frame.
It does.
Yeah,
Okay.
I do agree with you.
Okay.
Let's say it was back
She
to
might
back.
be-
Let's say she just went through a phase, or she was just like banging mad dudes.
Back to back, 18.
Back to back.
18
Oh my
hosts
God.
back
Back
to
to
back.
back, just like
Oh my
within
God.
like every couple of weeks, there's another dude.
You know about like
That's a huge problem.
That's a huge problem. Okay, I think when it comes down to
she
being
wouldn't
a hoe,
if she had 18 niggas, she wouldn't have been a doctor and lawyer.
nah,
just
that's
saying.
not true, son.
No,
that's not
nigga,
true,
she would
bro.
have during the day. She would have been asleep.
She would've never went to class. What? Look, I'm telling you, I think that is where, if I'm looking at things, I'm like, it's what you said. It's the presentation. She doesn't let people in her business. If she's quiet about her business, the woman could do anything she wants, and no one will ever know. The only time it becomes, I think, hoish activity is when there's mad niggas and oh no. It's like, damn, so you hit that? I hit that. You hit that. She hit that. He hit that. She hit that. Everybody hit that. We all know that. But if nobody knows, does that still qualify you as that? Especially if you hold yourself up.
I mean, that's
if you're doing your thing, you're educated, you're the bomb, you're Claire Huxtable.
listen.
Does that still qualify if no one knows your business?
If a tree falls and nobody's around, does it still make noise?
No, because no one's around to hear it.
So
That
she's
was good.
not a
I
hoe.
like that. I like that. No,
Right.
no, it's.
Don't give that nigga props for that
I
shit.
like that.
It's the same- it's the same thing you
fun.
said.
It is.
It's
It
the
is. It
same
is.
thing
I'm
you
hating.
said.
I'm hating. Can I hate?
She
Hate
knows.
away, hate
because
away, hey.
I feel like she knows.
She knows.
She knows. Okay, so if you're Cliff
Do you
Huxtable
think
now,
hoes know their hoes?
yes, they know. I feel like you know what's
I
decent
think the worst
and
hoes are in
indecent.
denial, though. I think the worst of the hoes don't know their hoes.
That's
They
a fact,
know. They just don't care.
Those are the worst
That
ones.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
the
mean,
one
like,
that
you
don't
know
care,
what's
yeah.
decent behavior and what's indecent. You know right from wrong. You know what's crazy and what's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, you just don't care. Like, some people just have different standards for themselves. Like,
Yeah,
some people go
true
through
indeed, 'cause
different
some-
things mentally and they're searching for certain things. And so they try to find, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
But that's crazy if, like, your sexual appetite is that high.
It's crazy.
Like,
I'm gonna give
if
you
you-
something my homegirl told me. What were you about to say about Cliff Huxtable if he was Cliff
okay,
Huxtable?
so if you're Cliff and now you meet Claire, and Claire's been doing this undercover, like, nobody really knows. And now you're Cliff and you're like, hey, like, you know, getting to know her. Are you expecting her to tell you?
No. That's the whole point. I think
So she never told you, like, and you're cool with that. Like, would you ask?
I would.
Okay, and then you're expecting her to, like,
I'm expecting her to lie because women always lie about that shit. No woman's ever gonna be fucking
Yeah, when
concrete.
you ask
about
about
I
the
that
am,
body
bullshit.
count.
I am
When you ask about
solid,
the body
okay?
count.
God, that's
I'm
that's
solid.
That's the need.
I have no- I'm-
So
so
let's
you're
stay
not
with
gonna
that.
be 100% honest with a nigga.
I would be 100 because I don't have a reason to lie. I'm 29 years old.
Boom.
But if this is...
Count it up, cuz.
Yeah,
this
like,
is-
no,
like,
I'm not
let's-
lying.
this
People,
is-
they're happy.
Mm.
Like, guys are amazed. Like, you know, I'm not just saying that because you're my cousin.
My
It's not just
family,
because
baby.
my big cousin right here, but I'm just saying, like,
you know right now,
no,
son,
like,
that's how
you
we
know what I'm
roll.
saying?
Some good
If
tea
you're,
right here.
you shouldn't have to lie. I mean, but some people do. Some people have
Sonic
you know.
Gems, baby.
Sonic Gems. I
Yeah.
get.
But no, like, same scenario. So, okay. So, say she did what she did. We gotta find other people. I looked up to this couple so much when I was growing up. I don't even want to use them in this example. Like,
Oh,
we gotta
shit.
pick a different couple.
Oh, we can't lose the Huxtables. What you want to use?
There was a
though?
milestone for us growing up.
That's
That's
true.
crazy
That's
looking
true.
at.
You want to use the
Dr.
family
Hux-
from Family Matters? Then you want to use Harriet from Family Matters? I don't know. What do you want to
Nah,
use?
but
Like, I don't know.
let's keep it for the sake of arguments and let's keep it the way it is. All right. So if she never told Cliff and then they got together, went on dates, got married, blah blah blah, and he found out later down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Should he leave her?
Ooh, that's good.
That goes into another question. Can your wholeness be erased?
Yes, people change.
Mm-hmm.
People can change.
Exactly.
Nobody's perfect. Everybody has a past.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Right.
I mean,
that is the hope that people change. That people change their minds. And
when you go that route, there's a lot of physical change you can't undo.
It's a whole other ball game.
I'm just saying, like, it's certain scars that won't go away.
This is funny.
I give you.
I mean, it's a fact.
I tell you something. My homegirl told me.
What's that?
We had a conversation about the same thing. This is years ago, right? This is one of my homegirls I grew up with. She told me, she was like, we had the same conversation, and she was like, how many guys would be acceptable for you, for a woman to have been with before you? I gave her some ridiculous number just to see. I was like, I don't like 3, I don't know. And she laughed for 10
How old
minutes.
is she though?
Wait. What was the question?
She's my age.
3 guys and she's your age.
No, I'm gonna break it down to what this was years ago, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna break it down to what she said.
Okay.
She laughed because she was just like, if you think a woman in her 30s hasn't been with more than 20 guys, then you're a bug guy.
That's crazy.
20.
I'm gonna explain why she said that.
Okay.
She said, if a girl has been sexually active since she was 15, that's literally maybe, and she's been even in between, there's been long relationships, that's still maybe 2 guys maybe a year. Is that a lot of guys? No. You got to times it by the woman's age. She's a grown-ass woman. She was like, you're looking at it backwards. You're looking at it whereas you're looking at the number as opposed to the woman's age. If a woman is grown, she's been with this. A woman can sleep with a guy and not be in a relationship with him, right? She's like, yeah. So you're thinking about a woman that's been sexually active.
You got to ask the right
15.
questions.
Should they though?
Right
like,
what's that? Be in a relationship?
Okay, so you're saying
Mm-hmm.
time it by the age of the woman. Well, the girl who you ever was talking about is saying time it by the age of the woman. So if this person has been sexually active since they were 15 and they've been with
now. Let's say
and now they're 30, so that's 15 years and they've been with 2 guys every year.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 guys every year. So either they've been in a relationship for 6 months a piece, right? Every year.
That's what I'm saying.
Or you're just like having sex without commitment.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't care how old you are, it doesn't justify, your age doesn't justify your actions. Just because, I mean, like, you know what I'm saying? You can't say, well, I'm 30, so I've been with this many guys because I'm 30. It doesn't mean that you need to be having sex with all of these men. Like we said earlier, dating is one thing, but like, nah, I'm not really.
So that's
I can't rock with that. No.
So, all right. So, if you ask.
That's a lot of men. So, okay. So now you're 60. Now you're 40. Like, so you just racking up. Like, and it's cool. Like.
She's like, if you're a grown ass woman, and that's her whole point. She was just pretty much saying, she's like, look, if she was like men, the way she was talking about it, she was pretty much like men have unrealistic expectations of women in thinking about sexuality. She was just like, the way men look at sexuality and the way women look at sexuality is actually the same. We just go about things differently. And because there's so much of a stigma for women, men act as if women being with a certain amount of men by a certain age is like ridiculous. So you're looking at it, you're like, oh, well, you've been with 15 guys in 15 years. It's like I've been fucking since I've been 15, though. It doesn't sound, it sounds crazy, but then you have to have one guy a year.
All right, with that logic, if we go with your logic, right?
Her logic.
Whoever
Right.
logic
Don't put it on me.
So at the age you are now, where you at now in a different scenario, if you ask whoever you're dealing with her body count, how much is too much?
1. 1 is too much.
Grown ass women, you want her to tell you 1?
1 is too. Look, listen.
You
want her
to
super lie to you.
Right.
I'm old school Haitian nigga. 1 is too much. I gotta find you no one this shit to touch me. I'm just playing. I'm joking.
I don't wanna know.
I don't like him.
That is funny.
I'm telling
That's
you
funny.
right now.
I'm
No.
saying you crazy.
I
Like you
think-
can't expect that for real. Like
No.
even if you tell me one, I'm leaving. I'm
No.
right up in there. I'm getting up and I'm walking out.
Because you're lying. You're lying, right? I think it depends. I think a lot of things, and this is just my opinion, I think a lot of things depend on the person. And that's why I was asking the whole Claire Huxtable ideal, was because I'm like, how does the person carry themselves? When we were talking about what's the definition of a hoe, it's like, we're like, well, this person has been with a lot of guys and they're cool with it. How are they carrying themselves though? Because I think there's been women that's been with a lot of guys, but they carry themselves very well.
We
They
also
carry
don't know if they,
themselves
like,
differently.
full
At
of
some
some kind
point-
of
At some
disease
point,
or-
that catches up to you. I feel like at some point, if your relationships with different men is like that, then you don't really get into time for nothing else.
I mean, I
Especially
feel
if you
like
learn how to build a hustle around it.
Some girls do.
there's a void. In my opinion, I would ask the question why, because that's not, in my opinion, normal, typical, acceptable behavior. So I would ask why the female is sleeping with all of these men. Like, what happened in your childhood?
Well,
or
that
what are your
that
experience?
that
What
it
type
gets
of
it gets deeper than that because now you got to go into child psychology and
right? I feel like
their
there's a
come ups,
reason. There's
where
a reason. Like,
the type of relationships they've been in before, abusive or not. Well, of course, it's been abusive at some point. If that's the direction you're going. Darker Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Don't go around. He got to wait for commercial.
The darker Peter Parker is entered the building.
What's up, people?
So we are having a conversation right now about what qualifies a woman as a hoe, right? So Destiny gave us her opinion, Flock gave his, I was giving mine. We were just kind of talking about.
Destiny's been dropping gems.
She's
all
been
night.
killing it, like yo, the gems have been lit. This has not been.
I think
yo.
this is probably the most serious podcast we've ever
Yeah,
had.
like we've been
Well,
laughing,
not
but it's
serious,
been like
the most professional podcast we've ever had.
yeah, it's been good. It's been good. So what do you think qualifies? So now we're thinking, okay, is it the body count, or is it the presentation of the woman? In other words, that she's able to hold herself in a certain esteem, regardless if she's been with a lot of men. So I was giving the example of a homegirl I had that said if she's been with, let's say, 20 guys or 15 guys, but she's been 15 and she's 30 years old now. We've had this discussion before, right?
Yeah.
We've had this discussion. So what do you think? Do you think that it's the number, or do you think it's the presentation? What do you think?
All right, so the real answer is
The real answer.
The real answer. We've all been giving fake ass
We've
answers.
been all been bullshit.
Hell yeah. with this.
I mean, to me, like as a man, you know what I mean? Like I've grown and matured over the years. Like for me, I would prefer for your body count to be low. I'm gonna just let you know, like at the gate, like I would prefer that. But realistically, like we're all human beings, you know what I'm saying? Like I get it. Like, all right. Like,
Okay. All right.
Like I get it. Like girls, you know what I mean, are just like men. They want to have sex. You know what I mean. So I get it. Like it's not even that. I mean, everybody's story is different. So I can't judge you off your past. You know what I mean. I could just judge you off of like, I guess it's really the presentation. Like, you know what I mean. It's really how you carry yourself. I probably don't want to know. You know what I mean. And honestly, because you know people want to know the truth, but they can't really handle it. You know what I mean. So it's like. If I ask, you know what I mean? It's like, would you even tell me the truth? I don't know.
Gems. Beautiful. Good gems. Pound it up. Pound it up. Good gems. Should we ask? Should we ask as men? I'm gonna start with you, Des.
No.
Should we ask? Should we be like, yo, all right, Des, you know, we talking, you lit, this guy's good, he believes in Jesus, you know what I mean? He doesn't smoke weed, he ain't shot nobody, he's a good dude, you like him a lot, he likes you, you guys are like there, you know what I mean? And he's like, yo, so I'm saying, how many, I mean, what's your body count? Would you be cool with him asking, or would you rather him not ask you?
I'm fine with him asking me because it's not high for me. So, like, I don't really care. I don't
Ladies,
really care.
y'all better step
like,
y'all game up. Yo.
Saying, right? So, okay,
yeah,
so
I'm fine with him asking me. I don't know if I would ask him a specific number, but I would just like to know your character, your past, just in general, in getting to know you, I would be
Getting to know
curious to know, like, were you a woman's man? Like, were you out in these streets for real, or was it pretty normal? like, I'm not expecting.
Status.
I'm not really asking, a number because that's kind of. You remember back in the days, you'd be like, how many? Because we're expecting a low number back then. Now that we're getting older, like that number may get a little.
It's like,
it may be a little higher than I want to hear, like Peter says. So.
It's my government. It's all right.
Dr. Peter
We'll
Parker.
bleep that out. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We got it. We
Yeah.
Good, we good.
Okay, so like.
so like beep was saying.
Yeah. So I don't know. For me, I wouldn't mind somebody asking me that.
Okay.
So what I had
wouldn't
asked
mind.
him about, what would be your number limit if you asked your dude what his body count was and he openly told you?
And is it the same as women?
It's definitely not gonna be the same.
Is
as
it the
women.
same? Would you
I
expect
don't
it to be
think
the
so.
same as women? Or would you be comfortable with it being less? Like, how would you feel about that?
So ask me the question again.
So he's saying, what would be pretty much what would you accept from a dude as far as a number?
Oh my gosh.
Right?
So
And-
I don't know if I would ask a number because I don't know if I would want to hear a number. I don't know if I would want to hear a number. What's normal? I don't even know what's typical for a guy, really.
A lot.
Which is so disgusting.
I mean, so here's the thing,
That's
right?
so gross.
Bust it
This
down
is
now.
what it comes down to, right?
Bust it down now.
Take a sip from the fountain of youth. You know what I mean? What it comes down to is this. So this is just in general, right? So women expect men to have a certain amount of experience because you're going to know what you're doing, right? Whereas like a woman is more, it's like mileage, you know what I'm saying? It's like you would prefer for like, you know what I mean? Like you want your car brand new, obviously, right? But you also want an experienced driver. You see what I'm saying? So as men,
Alrighty.
we're the experienced driver, you know what I mean? So my thing is like, I mean, granted, it depends on the person, you know what I mean? Because you gotta have a certain, I guess, do people say swag anymore? I don't know. Like you just gotta have like a certain like,
Yeah. 19, yeah.
you gotta have a certain
no, it
character,
ain't.
you know what
No,
I
it
mean?
ain't.
Like I don't know. For me, I always really kept it a stack. Like I'm not really like one of those dudes that try to like front, even though I have before, but like on a very like minor level. Because my thing was just like, of course, you know what I mean. You don't want to seem like, because the I guess the assumption is that if you have a low count, that means you're inexperienced, like you don't know, you know what I mean? But for me, I was always more of like I learned vicariously through so many different things. So I was already like, cause like for me, when I was younger, you know what I mean? And going through things, like people was like, wow, like, you know what I mean? Like it was like, this can't be your first time, you know what I mean? Like, and it's like, nah, like I just really just soaked up a lot of game, like, you know what I mean? Hanging out with, I was always younger in my crew, you know what I mean? Hanging out with older people, with school.
How you really learn?
So, I mean,
I was about to say the same thing. Like, yo, he got the nice voice on right now. Like,
I mean, it's only one way to learn, you know what I mean? It's only one way to learn. But at the same time, like, if you intelligent, you know what I mean, and you just carry yourself like I'm confident, you know what I mean?
Right,
like,
yeah.
I mean,
it ain't rocket science.
yeah, I'm not
Well,
not
kinda,
scared, you
but-
know what I mean? So,
Right.
Like, kind of.
kind of, sorta. If you want to get it done right, kind of.
but I mean, you learn.
You gotta
know what I
carry
mean?
the one,
Yeah,
sometimes
yeah.
the two. You know.
In a way,
you know.
So
So
you're
Yeah.
saying it's more presentation, Neff. You're saying it's more the way you carry yourself.
Absolutely. I mean,
Listen,
because that's the first thing
he
I'm gonna
made that
notice, you know
shit
what I mean?
sound
Yeah.
so smooth. He really ain't say shit. He ain't answer the question.
He did it.
He did.
He said
He made that shit. He put on the
he
radio
flexed
voice.
It, he flexed it.
He put on the radio voice.
He
Listen.
slizzed it.
Listen, he got the political publisher, and he knew exactly what to say. He didn't answer the question, but he knew exactly what to say.
He said it's about presentation, which is the Claire Huxtable example. I was giving the example of Claire Huxtable was a hoe, but no one knew.
Really?
And you looked at Claire Huxtable the
Nigga
way
said,
that she
really?
is.
No, man.
Would you think Claire Huxtable is a hoe? What if she's been with mad niggas before Cliff? You would never know, right? You know Claire Huxtable.
Yeah, from Cosby, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, definitely, you wouldn't think that. You know
You
what
wouldn't
I mean?
think that.
You
So
wouldn't
it's
think that.
about presentation adds a lot to it. Destiny doesn't necessarily feel that way. Destiny feels like, moreover, that
Doesn't matter how the fuck you're presenting yourself because you know you out here was a hoeing before. You just now you got a law degree. You think you lit.
But let me
That's like saying you're a thief. Like you still out of the store, but only you know because you never get caught. You're still a thief. Like you should still have some sort of conscious, sort of standard about. Like you know what I'm saying? Like just because only you know doesn't negate the fact that you out here in these streets for real. Like.
But then on the flip side, right? Like you have girls that like necessarily are virgins in a lot of aspects, right, to things. And it's like let's say you were in a long-term relationship from young, right? Like 18, 19, but then you have a curiosity. You're like, man, maybe I'm not experiencing the real life. Like it seems like lit, like everybody's hyping this up, right? So it's like those girls, you know what I mean? It's like they tend to kind of, you almost like sell your soul, you know what I mean, just to be a part of the wave. And then by the time you figure it out, it's too late, you know what I mean? Like, oh, man, I wish I didn't give this to the wrong guy or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's like, so I would just encourage, like, just stay true to yourself. If you got friends or so-called friends that are pressuring you to do things that you don't want to do, those are not your friends, you know what I mean? Because if they're really your homies, you're not going to feel like, okay, if somebody say, like, okay, you're going to try crack, and it's like, I'm like, nah. They're not gonna make me feel whack because you know what I mean. If they make me feel whack about that, then most of the time, at the end of the day, those are the ones that are gonna fall by the wayside. Right. So to me, I'm like, stay true to you. Situationships, you know what I mean. Sometimes things just happen, and especially at a young age, like for me, especially like my life has always felt like fast paced. Like it was never like just enough time to soak everything in because you know they say hindsight is 20/20. You know what I mean. So it's like a lot of times like you're learning things. You know, through your mistakes. So my thing is just like, you know, just choose wisely. You know what I mean? Nobody's perfect, you know what I mean? And you can't necessarily know 10 outcomes down the line what this choice is going to mean. You know what I mean?
So what is the mistakes? So how many mistakes is a person allowed to make is a question. Like, in other words, in the sense of saying, in being with a bunch of dudes or being with a bunch of, can guys be hoes?
I think Destiny's like, nah.
They kind of are.
Well, I mean, but here's the thing, though, too.
Do we think guys can be hoes?
So that's a good question because you were saying, like, it's kind of different for men and women. Like, men are, or the expectation is different for men. For me, the expectation is not different. Like, I'm not expecting no guy to be out here. I'm not okay with, like, the guy being out here. It's understandable. But the expectation should be the same. Like, you're not supposed to be having sex before marriage. Ooh. You're not supposed to be having sex before marriage. Nobody at this table is a virgin, right? And so when you say how many mistakes,
like
people make mistakes.
Babe.
Like
he's got a point.
Been holding it down this whole time. Been lying like a motherfucker.
See the Ice King?
People make mistakes. Like, people are out here, like, you know what I'm saying? But I just feel as though you should learn from the mistakes. You should have some sort of conscious, like, people are wilding. Like, they don't have a conscious, men or women alike. They're just out here, and I don't feel like there's any exceptions or different standards from one sex to another. I feel like everybody should be kind of having that same sort of standard for themselves. That's my opinion, so.
Okay. What do you think? Anybody?
So, what do you think is the best part about, I guess, hoeing? Not that any of us have experience, but like, what's one of the rushes of the, like? Is it because they have these high sexual drive, or is it the excitement of getting caught with somebody else's person, or is it like what type of mind frame do you have to be for this shit to be fun?
I can give you just like an example of people that I've known.
I know. Don't say no names.
Don't say no names.
Yo, one day we're gonna do a podcast where we dropping names.
The girls that I've known, do I feel weird? Do I just assimilate it to gender?
I'll say it like this too. Like, I think I see where you're trying to, like, I mean, my thing is like it's more so like it really depends on the person, man, because some people, like, they're just not intelligent, you know what I mean? So it's like I can't really speak for everybody. I just know, like, if you, like you said, you have a conscience, because, like, some people, it's like this. Some people have a conscience or whatever you want to call it, but, like, they dumb it down depending on their scenario, right? So it's like if you in an element, right? It's just like if you around killers and dealers, like, you got to kind of posture up and put on your game. You can't really show a certain side of you, right? So it's like I think that's what it is. Like, when you out here, it's like some people really are living in hell, you know what I mean? Like mentally, it's like, you know what I mean? Like you really like putting on the facade, like, oh, I'm lit, I'm like da I'm at the club, but it's like really like, yo, I'm tired, like, you know what I mean? I'm tired. Like, it's just like, I want to go home, like, but I'm in the club, like, I'm
even too tired to put on the facade. Yo,
to piggyback off what Neff is saying, that is exactly what I've heard from, like, you know, people that I've known back in the day. It was always like, you know, when it came down to it, it was always attached to something. When it was like an extreme amount of people, it was always attached to some kind of trauma.
Right, yeah.
So it was always like daddy issues, molestation. It was always something extreme.
And that's what we have.
You know what I mean? And it was always like, damn, really? It's like, yeah, yo. And they felt like that was how they found comfort and solace was in just being with multiple people.
Well, in a sense, that's what they knew. That's what they might have grown up knowing. Not to say that's what they went through, but that's what they might have grown up knowing. That's what they got into their comfort zone. At some point in time in their life, that became their comfort zone.
It's hard, but then it's like, damn, how do you?
I mean,
how do we? If you're meeting this person later on, are we able to see past it? Is the question. That's the question. Are we able to see past the Hoedom?
Right. Yes, I think
you gotta be at a certain. You gotta be. I mean, because you love. You gotta be at a certain place of like in your life. You know what I mean? Because it's like when you've received grace, like you know how to give it. You know what I mean? So it's like it depends on where you're at. Because I'm not gonna lie to you. Like if I mean, even now, like I'm not gonna go out of my way to like marry a stripper or something like that. But it's like sometimes life just happens in a very unique way. Like you just, you know what I mean? It's just real, and at that moment, like you like okay, like. You know what I mean? I can see this person for who they really are and accept that. God bless. I don't know how some people, like for me personally, that's not for me. Like, you know what I mean? It's not because I'm like judging anybody, but I just have too much pride, I guess. I don't know. It's just like for me, I can't, because, you know, it's like, I don't know. It's like, okay, perfect example. Kanye West and Kim Kardashian. That's a great example of what we're talking about.
That is a phenomenal example, actually.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know how he does it.
I would not.
Especially because she's so public and everybody knows everybody who she's like.
Hell yeah, nigga, there's a tape out.
That's Hollywood. That's Hollywood.
Would you do it though, nigga? She got a tape
Hollywood.
out though, bro. She got a tape out, my nigga.
I wouldn't do it,
is
but
crazy.
I'm not in Hollywood. Hollywood, these niggas date the same 12 chicks
they
over
do
and
pass
over.
them
It's
around.
more than a tape though,
And
man.
don't
I'm saying,
learn.
yo, Game dropped
Don't
a
learn
crazy
lessons.
16
Don't
about, and
learn
I'm like,
lessons.
yo.
Yeah, like they. Like that's just Hollywood. This shit revolve around that one small circle. You want to get in, you gotta do certain things. Like you can't put that in there. I'm talking about everybody else that's trying to get into that life.
But
and
that's
don't
hard though, dog. That's like saying like she got a whole tape out. Like, could you deal with that? I couldn't. Like, the thing there's a bunch of motherfuckers that have seen your, like, I couldn't even imagine. The thought is, my throat is closing up right now.
Yeah. And then
Like,
he tried to get upset, like, don't say that about my wife. Respect my wife. And they're like, I mean,
bruh.
it is what it is.
Oh shoot!
But
what about?
She probably changed now.
So
She's a mother now, so I can see him also kind of wanting that respect and those boundaries.
What if your girl was a porn star?
I couldn't do it.
No.
It happens every day though, man.
And
Like,
it
I mean,
happens
it's like,
every
yo,
day.
yeah.
There's some guys that are cool with that. They don't have an issue with their woman have been with. They like, it doesn't really make a difference for some reason. They're like, well, she's with me, so it's like I'm like, yeah, but she was also with him.
For a dude outside looking in,
him,
like,
and
him.
him.
You're not seeing that the same way. No.
And it's like sex is a very private thing. So now it's like we're making it public. Like I couldn't even imagine, son. Like I'm go crazy. I wouldn't even be able to get past. I don't even think I'd get. I wouldn't even want to talk to you. Like to the point where I wouldn't even be comfortable to say I'm gonna try to talk to Shorty. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like nah. But then that goes back into the whole thing about Shorty's been around with mad niggas and niggas just ain't know. Mm-hmm. How you gonna know that? She could be the Kim Kardashian. No disrespect to Kim K. Kanye still want them beats. But I'm just saying, like, if you know what I mean, if she doesn't know, and that's what we're going by presentation. Mm-hmm. If she's been with, and that's what Des was saying. Des was like, it doesn't really matter about presentation because you knew what you were doing. So, with the presentation,
it's tough, man.
It becomes where now you find out, and you're like, it's like,
I mean,
I didn't want to tell you because you know,
right?
Where did the term even come from? What was the garden to?
Yeah, damn.
Well, the whole is just like the short term of saying whore, and whores was some European shit. probably because I mean we weren't.
Because
It
whores,
wasn't
like in
nature.
the European sense, are prostitutes.
Exactly.
So what's a hoe?
Well,
And
the
a
thing
hoe-
is,
okay.
yeah.
So I guess to answer my own question, is a hoe is a prostitute not making money?
That's horrible.
I think here is the psychology of it to me, right? I guess I got the psych degree for a reason. Back in the days, like if you were a whore, then it's like you're gonna get stoned, you're gonna get burned at the stake. Like it was a serious thing. Like it wasn't like. So my thing is just like being realistic. Like now, you're like, okay, why can't I have this freedom? Because men have been doing this, and so on that side of the argument, I can't really argue that. I'm like, you're right. Like, but just because you have the freedom to do something doesn't mean it's right. You know?
Good. That's a good point.
We have the freedom to do anything we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
We literally make a choice. Everything we do or say or think is a choice. So that's why we have a conscience. That's why there is such thing as right and wrong. And so freedom doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't mean anything. Freedom's a privilege that should be cared for with, like, you know, grace and standards and morals and respect, in my
It takes a
opinion.
different type of discipline to handle that freedom.
I think we are 100% free.
We're
think
free.
we
We're
just
pretty-
We're
I
free.
mean,
just don't
We're free
know.
with restrictions.
In America.
You
we
think
are.
the purge wouldn't be going on every day if we was free?
Well, I mean, that's.
I think you can do it if you're
That's white
if you accept the consequences, right?
No,
Right,
I'm
yeah.
saying
If you
do.
accept death,
free. That's
I think-
not free then.
I think anyone
If
that
you're
accepts death,
expecting the
you're
consequences,
free.
then that's free because you know you're not supposed to be
If
doing
you
it.
accept death, you're free. In other words, if you accept the consequence of death, I'm gonna die. God forbid, I'm good.
Right.
Whatever happens after that, I don't care.
They can talk that game, but they not.
That's where
they not about
bombers
it.
come in
They're
and
not
all of
about
this.
it.
We got into a whole other subject. But
That's true.
I know.
Yo, we did, right?
I mean,
yeah,
they're not about it,
Back
son.
to the hoes.
it's hard. It's hard. But if we're just even just in the subject with holes, and so on and so forth. I mean,
Yo, what if a hoe had whack sex? Like that shit don't even make sense. Can a hoe be whack?
in bed,
Yeah,
I would hope not.
I mean, you would think by now.
you would think.
but it's.
You
I
would
mean, but
think. You
but
would
at the
think.
same time, it depends on, like, we're talking about women, right? So it's like that's not. They don't really have to be good. I mean, if you see a girl, she's bad, you're gonna be like, word, like, and I bag that, like, I don't care, you know what I mean? But then at the end of the day,
that's what we did. Because if you could be bad all you want, but if you think all you about to do is lay there, you got a problem.
But that goes
But
back.
you
nah, but
don't
it's a
find that out
prestige.
till
It's a
That's what he was
prestige.
talking
Yeah,
about, right? It's
yeah.
a prestige. 'Cause that's what he was talking about. Looks. We were
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about like, having a car, but having an experienced driver. And when he said that earlier, that's what it is. Like, you could
that's
be,
when I
you
went
could
behind
be
the
like,
scenes.
you could be alright, but like, I'm gonna drive this whip
Yeah.
until it becomes the whip that I want it to become.
Yeah,
You
that's
know
a
what I
great
mean?
analogy too. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you-
exactly
I'm
what it is.
saying,
I mean,
but
that's
if you
that's
go
really-
on a lot to test drive a whip that got X amount of miles on it, you would think that shit would drive smooth.
You would hope, but that has nothing to do with the way that it drives. I think it can have it can have 200,000 miles,
Yeah.
but the whip would drive great compared to a car that has 10,000 miles.
Yeah.
I think it
Or vice
depends.
versa.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we're going really off. It's like, I think
controlled,
we went,
though.
Yeah, I think we went straight off. But I mean, that's what it is.
Nah,
I
we
mean,
didn't.
You guys must have not had that much to drink before I got here, because
Nah,
it's
everyone's
like
been Destiny's been keeping us calm. Destiny's been like
Don't
this is
don't
not-
allow me.
this is
do
not
your
what
thing.
we're not used to
Destiny's
this.
been keeping us at bay. We've been that's why he was like he was been the most professional.
Yeah.
You know, Destiny's been keeping us very
What are y'all normally
profession-
flipping off the
Oh my
ceilings
God,
and-
you have no idea what it would be like right now.
Yeah,
It's like,
no, this is.
it would be pandemonium at this
Yeah.
point right now. Like,
But you know what it is, man? It's like, yeah, everybody's got their, passionate. I mean, you know what? It's good, man. Like, we're here. We love that you're here because you're bringing that woman's touch. You know what I mean? And it's been needed for a minute now. Like, like you don't even know. Like, it's just like. It's been mad rough, son.
Yeah,
So hopefully, you know what I mean, we want to get you back, more regularly, you know what I mean, and just hang out with the fellas, and you know what I mean. It's
I'm
like
sure
it's-
she's had a couple of moments and she's like, y'all so niggas.
yo, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
like,
Y'all mad
guys are
niggardly,
like
son.
doers,
Yeah,
It's
so niggerish.
interesting to hear your perspective on different
Yeah,
things.
I think guys. I think a lot of the times we. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say we appreciate your perspective. 'Cause
Yeah, absolutely.
niggas, we just be talking out our ass and be thinking we good with it.
That's
just
a
real.
gem.
Yeah, that's a gem. Word up. I think a lot of the times we don't even know. I think guys are like oblivious
No,
to.
listen.
I can only speak
Listen,
for myself.
for the most part, no, for all of us, niggas are clueless for the most part.
That's a fact.
When
We
it
don't know
comes,
shit.
and especially when it comes to women, we love women, we respect women, we adore women, we admire women, but we're dumb as shit when it comes to understanding what they need.
Yeah,
But that's always that's on both parts because y'all be switching up.
Yeah.
Or women y'all be coming with like 30 different personalities and we don't know who was coming on Wednesday. So like
that's a fact. So are women? So Des will ask you the difficulty. Do you feel you're difficult?
I can be difficult.
In what sense? Do you feel like, okay, if a guy goes, babe, today we wake up, the sky is blue. No, the sky is green. And we're like looking at the sky. Like we're like looking at it. There's only a few colors. Like it's not purple. We're pretty sure it's blue. But do women just want us to just agree?
Well, okay, so I don't mean difficult in that sense. That's argumentative. That's more, in my opinion, argumentative. Because there could be a difference in perspective or, like, okay, so let me back up. When I said difficult, I probably shouldn't even use the word difficult. I can be moody, like most women. I think that's just a woman thing. Today I might be like, in a great mood, and tomorrow I just really don't want to be bothered. And so I know that I can be moody, and that can probably come across as difficult. Maybe not, depending on the person and their, perspective or patience levels and that kind of thing.
confusing.
But that's a woman thing, like I think, in my opinion. But I'm not argumentative, and like I said, like I prefer for the man to be a leader, and so if he say the sky is blue, then damn it, the sky is blue.
Clap it up for that.
I was just about to say
Clap it up
it was
one
a
time.
natural thank
We
you.
clapping up one
That
time.
was
Like,
awesome.
you know what I'm saying?
I
Because
think you're lying, but I just feel like we should
It
clap
depends.
because
No.
So,
It depends
if
on.
we believe this and we go to Olay, it's
So
not what
okay,
it's gonna
with
be.
that being said,
No,
you like your man
no.
you like your man to be well go ahead and finish.
It depends on the scenario, because I'm not. If the sky is okay, the sky's blue and it's off blue. It's off blue greenish. I'm not gonna be like, it's more green. If the sky's yellow, then I'm not gonna just agree with you when you're wrong. And that's in any scenario. I'm not gonna just agree when you're wrong. I'll tell you like, I don't really agree with that. You should probably do it this way. Because that's a part of any relationship and growth. You have to be willing to accept when you're right or wrong. And I also feel like there's okay to have a difference in perspective or a difference, and it's a matter of communicating and agreeing and allowing one another to have those difference in opinions. But I'm not an argumentative person, so I'm not going to just go back and forth with you about the sky, something so stupid just for the freak of going back and forth about the sky. So it depends. I'm not lying in the sense of, okay, I just agree with whatever the guy says because he's supposed to be the leader. Like, that's not what I'm saying. If you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. But, you pick your battles, pick and choose your battles. And as long as it's not nothing too crazy, then I'm not really going to.
You know what, too? I mean, you were saying...
Until the argument come up. Like, no, it's yellow. Now you sleep on the couch.
But he said a good thing, though. She said, I expect the man to be a leader, right? Which is... pretty much since the beginning of time, this is what we know, right? And I'm not against that. I think that is how it should be. But where do you get that experience to be a leader? Like you don't just like wake up one day like I'm gonna be the president. Like you got to have some qualifications, right? So if you, let's say, you had high school sweetheart, right? This is the only girl you've been with, and so you don't really know anything. You know what I mean? Like you're just trying to be whatever this definition is supposed to be of what you're supposed to be, right? So you're like, all right, so this is what we're doing. And I mean, my thing is like, too, is like a lot of times I think instead of trying to find solutions together as like men and women, we look to each other to just be like this Google engine search. You know what I mean? And it's like, nah, like there are certain things like, I mean, you're going to be right on. Like you said, like everybody should get credit whether they're right or wrong. It's not about like, okay, like what your role is, whatever. But if, for instance, like if you're moody or whatever one day, I mean, that's fair. You know what I mean? Because everybody has their weight that they got to carry, and especially women. Like y'all go through a lot in your own right. So if you're feeling like that, I just want like some type of like warning sign.
Other way. You see, I don't use this often.
Oh, yeah,
this top thing, I'm like, oh,
yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
Look how gentlemanly my guys are. They're so genuinely.
Yo,
my guys are you.
she
You
dropped
good,
a lot
you
of
good?
gems,
I mean,
B.
you gotta.
She
turn
dropped a
it,
lot of
baby.
gems.
You know what I mean? You gotta like.
So,
gentlemen.
Des,
Yeah.
what is your? I'm sorry, Pete.
Were you finished?
I don't even remember what I was saying.
We're talking about making decisions
Making
together,
decisions,
and not solely relying on the guy to be the decision maker because sometimes he genuinely doesn't know.
I had, you know, one of those things where it's like, I was going somewhere with it. I don't remember where I was going,
So
but
I had a
mean,
point,
like,
but
I'm just saying, like, so a lot of times, because again, we all come from different backgrounds, so your examples of maybe even lack thereof, because a lot of girls don't come from households with fathers, so what you expect me to be is not really what it's supposed to be anyway, you know what I mean? So my thing is like, it's really coming to an understanding of self, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to get 5% on y'all right now, but you know what I mean? I just think like you gotta
5%.
you gotta really like have, I think my key thing, what I've learned so far in life, 26 years, like you have to respect people, like on a fundamental level, on the most basic level. If you have respect for somebody, you're gonna automatically, I mean, granted, again, when you're in a relationship, realistically, if you've ever been in a long-term relationship, like you already know how it's gonna go. Like it's just not roses and stuff. And because you know it's easy for those boundaries to get blurred. But again, like I said, like I just want like I guess a warning sign or like some type of communication. Because my thing is like I'm gonna do everything. I'm one of those guys. Like some guys actually don't care at all. Like they're just like whatever. Like you know what I mean. But I'm the opposite. Like I actually will like, yo, what's wrong? Like what can I do? So it makes me irritated. Like I can't figure it out or whatever. It's like okay, you're just in your zone. Okay, this is just how it's gonna be. And so my thing is like that's where it becomes like now after a while. We get stuck with like bad habits because it's like you already know this is that cycle. So you're just like, all right, like. I'm gonna just fall back, and then it's like, so here's the thing. So everybody always talks about communication in relationships, right? And this is where it gets shut down at because now you're like, why isn't he like, you know what I mean, open up to me or whatever? It's like because you've already learned, like, you know, you learn people's reactions to things, you learn people's like,
right.
So it's like after a while, and I know I'm kind of veering off because it's like everybody's an individual, everybody's different, but I think just in a general sense, we have to be transparent about what it is that we expect. You know what I mean? Because it's like expectations, you know what I mean, lead to disappointment. If you don't know, like, it's like, okay, well, what exactly is it that you want? Sometimes I know that you don't know what you want. It's like, you know, you go to the fridge and you open it up and you're like, I don't know what I want right now. This is crazy. Like, but it's a very irritating feeling. So, you know, it is what it is, man. What do y'all think about that? Like, what do you, you know what I mean? What do you do in that situation where your girl is like?
I think you made a very good point in saying, I think we should be very upfront. And this all comes with age and learning shit and being in relationships. And I think we should all, I personally believe everyone should just say what they want.
Right. And
Everyone
how
should
they're
just
feeling.
say it. Yeah. Just say
Like
it.
it's just one of those days.
Yeah,
I'm just not in the mood
say
today.
it. Don't waste
It's
time.
easier said than done because you got to consider like people's sensitivity levels are different.
But that goes to what you just said about respecting people fundamentally.
Yeah.
If I said I'm just having one of those days, like I'm just not in the mood, and then you come and say you make me feel like it's a problem for me to have one of those days, then you're not respecting how I feel, in my opinion, as a human, because we all have those days when we're not in the mood.
Yeah.
So then that means you're being selfish about your feelings because you want me to be in a better mood for you, for your sake. Like, you know what I'm
Had
saying?
this whole evening planned out. What is
Like-
going on right now?
It's a fact.
So in my opinion, if I'm communicating, we say communication is key, and I just communicated like, man, it's not you. Today I'm just having one of those days, and I just don't really want to be bothered. But that's not okay. Then communication is not what's key. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Ooh, so I
Like-
just thought of something too. I mean, so with that, because you know sometimes girls say one thing, but then they also want the other. So it's like if you're saying like, all right, like I really don't want to be bothered, but you're like, yo, really? So he's just gonna leave me alone. He's not gonna check on me.
I'm not
So then it's like, oh my
right.
gosh, like
We're
you know what I mean?
stuck. But guys never know, and I think that's a hard thing to kind of deal with in that sense, because like, yo, we all want to try to figure. I think women expect guys to figure shit out.
Mm-hmm.
We're not that smart.
Yeah,
That's a fact.
No, especially when you come with riddles like it's not that. I've had that
Said
type
riddle.
of day. Like, now we just stuck like deers in headlights. Like, do I comfort you? Do I leave your ass alone?
Right.
Like,
Like,
But why not
where do we
ask?
go?
because we're straightforward
Because
as men, right?
like,
Like,
I
if
mean,
you
there
ask
might be
me,
times
I'm gonna
where we
tell
do
you like
ask.
straight up.
Yeah.
There might be times where we do ask and we be like, nah, I'm okay.
Yeah, we don't.
Okay, so then
That's
that's
a trick.
it.
No, but we know that's a trick
It's,
answer.
it's never because you guys
It's
are never
never
really
the real
okay.
answer.
That's
You
not
guys
true.
are never
Like,
really
that's,
okay.
That's,
No,
some, that's,
that is
that's
never
not
Giving you
true
the
for
side eye.
everything.
You're mad
Exactly.
comfortable. You're
Listen,
like, oh great, everything is
is
okay.
universal.
That's
That-
not universal.
Listen, that is the one
One
lingo
million.
men
Like, not your
understand
one
is that when
million.
y'all
She's
say
like,
y'all
you-
okay, y'all really not.
That's not the case. Not for me.
You know what I think is so interesting, and you know, and then you're just thinking like, where is this
Yo,
going?
it
on?
happened the other day. It happened the other day. I got to the crib, right? Chilling. Matter of fact, I got to the crib first, then wifey got to the crib. So I was probably there a good 15, 20 minutes before she got there.
That's the
so
best.
I had
Sorry, I shouldn't say that.
no shit. I can get that little breather time in. But so I'm in there, I'm setting up. The fire stick is on, and I forgot what I was watching. I started watching something. So she came in. I paused it. It was like, yo,
That's
so how
considerate.
was your day? Yeah, it was good. I went here, I went there. It's like, all right, cool. That's what's up. Anything else happen? Like, pretty
And
much it.
play.
Yeah, you would think, right? So I'm like, all right, cool, that's what's up. So like 2 minutes of silence go by. Like, all right, you good? Like, you know, I got blood hand. I hit play. Like 5 minutes into, like, oh, so let me tell you about this. Like, wait a minute, didn't I pause this shit for a reason? We're not cutting into this.
It's not about your time.
I
I think we're all confused, and this is
Yeah.
this is where we
See,
come as
but-
guys. We have no clue. Like
No,
the
but that's
timing.
listen. That was my attempt to give her time.
That was
right,
like 2
but then
minutes
it's
worth
not
of your
about
time.
your time. Right, it's
No.
not about her time. She's not on your time, my nigga. Like you and yo, all right, cool, I'm good.
No.
I'm good now.
No.
Back
Don't
to
wait.
the
No.
fucking
If the game, listen, I don't know what game that starts and within the first 2 minutes you go on the timeout. That shit don't happen. Don't go on the timeout mode. If you're done talking, then be done talking.
Dang, for the rest of the day, because you got to watch
No,
TV.
not
That
for
you
the
can
rest
pause.
of the day. No,
you
not for
can
the rest
pause
of the
it
day.
again.
Not for the rest of the day.
Snook
Don't
got
wait.
Shoot,
Don't
eh?
wait.
Bad.
Don't
This is
wait
a
for
bad
5
example.
minutes. Don't wait for 5 minutes.
Yo,
It's a wrap
Don't wait.
for you,
No.
my nigga. Like,
Don't
yo,
wait
my
for
nigga.
5 minutes to start it up again.
Bro, it's a wrap. We all telling you right now it's a wrap,
No.
bro.
Yeah, it
Bro, we're telling you it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it's
ideally,
over.
like that would be nice because, but then it's like, you know what's crazy, man? Like you think about like ideally how you would want your woman to respond in these situations, and if it actually happened, you probably still think something was wrong because it's not supposed to be like that. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, because honestly, if you are, then I feel like, are you cheating on me? What's going on? You know what I mean?
that's
Dang.
mad extreme.
I know, but I'm saying like it's like because it's just a natural woman's like natural instinct to like if you're with the man and you love him, whatever, like it's just their job to like get on our nerves. I don't know, like it's just the
No,
way
but
it
that's
has to
what,
be.
like-
You know
but
what I
that's
mean?
my thing. Like, if I give you the floor, don't give it back to me and then just want to cut in the middle of my session.
Yeah, no.
Like
Or
if,
they-
if
or
I'm in the,
they-
if I'm in the middle of my session and they come in, grabs the mic from me, then we gonna fight. That's a problem. I'm in a different focus right now.
Have you guys
feel you,
ever
man.
seen, and this, I know you got something to say, but have you guys ever seen White Man Can't Jump, the movie?
Of course.
No. Dang, I'm the only one who hasn't.
Well, I mean, it's a little-
bad.
That was
Yeah,
right
yeah,
before.
Dang,
yeah,
I
right.
know you was just about to say who hasn't seen that, and I'm like,
I was
I
like,
can tell
I
you
have
right
not
now.
seen it.
I forgot where I was at for a second.
Okay. There's a part in the movie where she goes, you know, she was with Wood Harrelson or whatever his name is, and she goes, you know, I'm thirsty. He goes, all right, I'm gonna get up and go get you some water. Just
had a whole night session, was banging this shit. He's like, I'll go get some water. I'm good. He's naked and I'll get you some water. She's like, no. He's like, okay, what do you mean no? Like, you just asked for some water. She's like, no. I want you to empathize with the fact that I want some water. I want you to go, hey, I also know what it's like to be thirsty too. Not just get up and go get the water. I'm telling you this not because I want you to get up and go get the water. I'm telling you this because I want you to empathize.
That's ridiculous.
So
it's not realistic. It's not realistic.
So if you're saying I want some water, I'm thirsty. You're saying get your ass up and go get me some water because I'm thirsty. I'm soif. Okay, no problem. I think this is where
I'm hitting you with that.
Exactly, because this is where
get emphasizing the emphasize.
Because this is where that's what he's saying. As far as I came home, like I paused the game, and we talking, and you're like, I'm good. He's like, all right, I'm gonna go back to watching the game because you said you were good. All right, so I'm good. I've learned that whenever women say they're good, they're never good.
They're never good.
They're never good. Women just say I'm good. It's just like, all right.
Yo, when they say I'm good, that's the next level to the puzzle.
Yeah, it's the whole shut the game. It's to shut the game off. You
I'm
gotta shut
not
the
like
game
that
off.
though. Like I literally get irritated if I say I'm okay and you like, you sure?
Yeah.
You okay?
Because they are anticipating.
Sure?
You know what I
That
mean?
is
It's like,
aggravating to me.
Right.
Didn't I just say I'm fine? Like
That
I'm
goes
okay.
back to experience. See, and then when we don't ask, are you sure? So you just gonna leave it at that?
Yeah.
Do you see
I
what
mean,
guys go through, Des?
I
We're
do.
all
It's
confused.
a serious
We're all
struggle.
stupid.
Because every woman is different, like, you know? And so you can't take one experience that you have with the woman and think that every woman is the same because you approach that woman and then you run into problems as opposed to trying to figure out what this woman likes and what this woman is like and what this woman is like. Like, everybody's not the same.
That's true.
So, like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, expecting me to want you to say, what's wrong? You sure? Like, or that I'm going to give you a problem because I said I'm good and you think, like, you know, everybody's different.
The longer you're with somebody, right? Like, the expectations change. In the beginning, it's simple like that. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm good. That's what I mean, right?
That's normal.
Because that's how it starts out. It's like, oh, man, my girl is awesome. She gets it. Oh, like, I'm living the dream. And then
Thank you.
3 years later, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, like, so you're not just good. Like, it's like, you know, it changes a little bit because I think, like, also, I mean, I'm not saying it's just a woman thing. It could be just, you know, like you said, it's just a personality, but you kind of almost expect that person to really know what you're thinking because, like, maybe they've been with you for so long. You like, you know, I'm not good. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, no, I really don't. Because first of all, I have my own day of problems that I dealt with all day. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to come home to peace. Like, I just really want to unwind and, like, actually, I just want to stay there. I don't really want to, like, do anything else. You know what I mean? Because this is overtime at this point. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter if it's a weekday or weekend. Like, I just want to chill all the time. And, yeah, we're going to talk about our problems and stuff and stressful things that we're going through and help each other out. But there's a difference where, like, yo, like, I didn't do this to you, or, like, I can't solve this for you, right? So it's like, I can try to comfort you, but then you feel stupid. And then it's like, well, men are stupid. Like, and it's like, yo, like, yes, we are. But at the same time, I don't have no tools. You know what I mean? I don't know what to do. And I just want to, whatever. Can you just make love to me? Like, you know what I mean? That's it. That's just really all the bottom line at the end of the day. Like, that's really all.
Solves every problem.
It's the best.
That's
you know what I
so
mean?
crazy.
Why not try love, ladies and gentlemen?
It does. It solves every
It's a quiet
problem.
storm.
It solves every problem.
Wow.
It does. It solves every. So what do you think?
For
like, it's-
temporarily.
That used to be a thing too.
No,
That's still a thing.
Temporarily.
It might automatically solve all the problems. So let me ask you this: what do you think, like, as far as dudes, right? Do you feel that we miscommunicate? And,
I wouldn't just say for men. I feel like
but just
women
for like,
as well.
but just for the but really on just on a men level.
Okay.
Because, like, just how do you feel like guys? Because I don't know if guys, and I'll just speak for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I never know if I'm saying the right thing. I could be like brolic, and be like, nah, we're doing left ABC. That's it. It's a wrap. What up? I get my ear chewed off. It's like, like, you want me to be a leader? I'm being a leader.
Yeah.
I'm trying, and it's not working. It's just not. You
But
don't want me. You don't want me to
wife's
say it.
thing to be for you to, like, you know, is that her thing for you to be dominant and make decisions? And
I thought that was how women I thought that was how it is with women in general. Like I thought the
But-
guys wanted guys to be a dominant guy because they're men. They're supposed
That's
to
not
be,
a general thing,
like-
though. You can't generalize stuff like that because
Nah, women pick
that
and
might
choose
be
when they want you to
offensive
be
to
dominant.
somebody else.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It does
Like-
flip flop because honestly, it's like we all been there. It's like it flip flops because here's the thing, right? Like you get a man that does everything that you want him to do. He listens. He just knows the right things to say all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically your gay best friend. You know what I mean? That's not real life. You know what I mean? Because the thing is like yes, like we are on different planes. Like I'm not gonna be like I mean, granted, I consider myself to be more on the sensitivity side to like understanding women better because like I grew up around a lot of women. You know what I mean? So for me, I had more of an affinity towards like I had a lot of female friends, you know what I mean? It wasn't so I kind of feel like I have a little bit more where it's like I understood. I mean, of course I'm not a woman, so there's still things. I'm still a guy at the end of the day, but I still feel, but then it's like, like you said, it does depend on the person, you know what I mean? Some women may like their men nice and ignorant, you know what I mean? I don't know, like it just depends.
That's a fact.
You know what I
Some
mean?
women don't have.
They're like, oh man, he don't even clip his toenails. That's what's up. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, I heard that before. You know what I mean? I was at work and I'm like, yo, he's like, yeah, like he's just rugged. Like I like that. He don't even clip his toenails. Like, you know what I mean? He's just a man. You know what I mean? And it's like, nah, I clip my toenails. You know what I mean? If that makes me sensitive, so be it.
Be tight if you don't clip your toenail.
Yo, but you be like, it's some dudes out here. You know what I mean? So my thing is just like, anyways. I'm sorry, Destiny. I don't know what.
No, but that's a good question, Neff, because I think we all have this. We're innate with manhood, what we believe it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're like, from example, whatever. We're like, yo, this is what men are. Like, we grimy, we shitty a little bit. Like, you know what I mean, a lot of the times we don't give a fuck. We're like, yeah, you good with it? We're good. We don't care. You good with that? That's my reaction to most shit. You good? Yeah, I'm good too then.
Most
Yeah.
niggas just
I'm
like to go with
super
the
straight.
flow. Go
Yeah.
with the flow, just like
Yeah,
yo,
this
whatever's
is whatever it
Well, no
is.
problem,
But
son.
sometimes women are waiting for more
Right.
emotion into that, and then we're like, me personally, I'm like, I don't know how much more emotion I can put into this. I say you good, I'm good. I don't care what it is. I don't care what you decide. You be like, yo, this is what we're gonna do. You said left.
Here's the catch-22.
Yeah,
Even
like,
if you
yo,
go,
like,
I don't
I'm
care.
good.
Like,
This
it's
is-
not
this
really
is-
an issue.
even
This
if
is
you
my
go
good
deeper with
face.
it though, even if you try, like I guess you got to really know your woman too, like Destiny was saying, but it's like it depends because it's so like with women, it's like it's very sensitive, right? Like it's like you don't know how the wind is blowing right now. Like it's like it depends. You could be driving and you're like, all right, you good? And it's like even if you go and you're like, nah, for real, like break it down to me, babe. Like, and it's like she's gonna give you the pushback regardless. So it's like you didn't do anything wrong. Like actually you did the right thing, but it was still the wrong thing. It's just like it's not logical. You know what I mean? Is what it comes down to. So. And that's why,
I feel
again,
bad for y'all.
you know what I mean?
Y'all are
It's
so-
like just
y'all
mad
are
sad.
so
You're the girl in the
confused.
scenario. You're
Help
here.
us.
You're supposed to help us because we're confused. Help us, we're poor. We don't know what to do. As you notice from everything we've been saying, we don't know shit. Like we're all trying to figure out some weird equation to try to like be like, okay, this is what she wants. She's cool with this. But then it's like she's not really cool. Like I know with my wife, I'm like, yo, you good? She's like, I'm good. You're not good. There's a problem. Automatically, as soon as she says I'm good, there's a problem.
It's got to be like I'm all right. I'm all right.
It's
Yeah,
the tone,
it's
right? It's
like
the
that.
tonality, exactly. No, I'm good. Oh, okay, babe. Oh, you, and then we're still like, you sure you're good? Like you're good, right? Oh, yeah, I'm good. There's always a situation where guys feel like we gotta ask. Do you want a guy to automatically know,
No, that's not realistic.
or are you the type that will tell him?
I would tell him
Like, okay,
I'm not in the mood. I'm good.
Which leads to my question. That's what pushes your buttons. What bothers you? Like, what is
Ooh,
something a
alright,
guy
let
can
me
do
think.
that will piss you off? And it could be in any level. It could be, I don't like the way you put on your sneakers. I don't like you going out every weekend. You going out. What is it what bothers you?
Okay, so I don't know. I'm like my sign is an Aquarius, right?
What
so
is emotional?
I'm not the most emotional female in the world, and so not to say not much bothers me, but I'm not emotional, so I'm not a high maintenance in that department. Like, I don't really require a lot.
Get some applause for that.
Everybody's different though. Like, females are different. Some Aquarius are different. Like, you know, so it kind of just depends on the person. But like, what bothers me a lot would be going out all the time, hanging out all the time. Like,
That'd be every weekend.
Like, say if your dude had one day out of the week dedicated to his people.
No. So I have a lot of friends. And so, you know what bothers me? When a guy doesn't allow me to be me. Like, a guy doesn't allow me to go out and, like, hang out. Because I have a lot of friends. And so, I'm not out every weekend and I don't club or anything like that. But, like, I like to hang out. So
But you have your own social life.
Yeah, like... Yeah, that irks me. That irks me when he expects me to change that. Like,
what if he doesn't want you to hang out with male friends?
That's what I was gonna say. Is it with males?
Mm-hmm.
It's a combination of the two. Like, the people who I hang around, it's a combination of the two, like men and women.
Mm-hmm. What if he's like, I don't care. I don't want you to hang out with no niggas.
Not period. I mean, it can't. I mean, that's insecure. That can be a little shaky.
Him hanging out with a female.
Depending on the extent, if it's the same way that I hang out with these guys, then I would be okay with that. That means they're just friends.
How would you know that?
Based on your word.
That's
based on your word, based on like interactions. Like, okay, so I was dating this guy, and he would hang around a bunch of females. Cool. Like, I didn't have a problem with that. But certain females were more like,
right.
Hey, sis, like, hey. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, hey, whatever. And then it was this one female who wasn't as hey. And so I had an issue with that because I'm like, something like vibes are just a little like, you know, so it kind of just depends. How do I know? Just observation, like just on what you tell me, the interaction that I have. Like, are you like, nah, you can't ever come, like, you know, or, you know, little things like that is pretty obvious, honestly, because you guys are not the smartest people. But I mean, it's pretty obvious, I think, in my opinion.
Well,
yeah,
things were going really great, Destiny. I don't know. It was a little fumble there on that play. No, but you know, it's just I feel you, but I'm just going off of my own experience, right? Like, I think with that, it's a maturity thing. I mean, depending what age you are, your circle, your elements that you're in is going to be different. But I think that if you're, it's hard because it's just not, we're not equivalent. This is the thing that I think here's like it sounds like an oxymoron, but I'm not trying to belittle women when I say this, just to preface it, right? I just think that things are different in the sense of, like, as a man, this is a sensitive subject. I don't even want to, like, bring this up lightly, but just even in terms of, like, we're talking about getting raped on the other podcast, right? Like, is there such thing as man rape and all this stuff like that? So it's like, for several reasons, obviously, like, that's less likely to happen for a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're out and about, like, I'm not worried about, like, oh, my female friends could possibly rape me. Like, that's not a thought, right. You know what I mean? And plus, man, we're wired differently. So I'm not sitting here saying that it's not realistic to have platonic friends, because I have female friends that was just platonic and it's respectful. It's not anything, you know what I mean? But I know they started dating a dude, and I've known this girl for years, you know what I'm saying? But this guy doesn't know me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's not going to be the same where I'm going to just text her like always and, like, you know what I mean, hit her, because it's like, I already know. I mean, even on my end, you know what I mean, I wouldn't want that. But he doesn't know, like, my intentions are pure, because most 99%, you like, guys' intentions aren't pure, you know what I'm saying? So you already going to come into it with that. So it's like, so if you're out, it's not so much that, I mean, yes, there's a level of insecurity, but one thing that I learned a long time ago is a slight difference, right? So the terminology of insecurity and safeguarding. So when you safeguard your relationships, you put up certain boundaries that prevent things from happening instead of being reactionary to a situation. Because you might be in a situation, you didn't plan for it, but now this happened and now it's a problem. So now you're reacting to it. But you could have probably prevented that. Maybe by not being there, maybe by just moving a little different. So,
but then how would you know the boundary on safeguarding and insecure, or doing too much, or not allowing that person to, like, because,
well, the same way you said, the observations. We get the same senses y'all get. We get our spidey senses are different. We know when a nigga is creeping up or praying.
Right.
He
So
liked
if-
1,099 of your pictures, and he puts a heart on each one. Come on, son. Like, it's like,
Facts.
you know what I mean? That's
Yeah,
in your
yeah.
face,
If you-
but
if
women
you
will
going-
be
yeah.
oblivious to that, too.
If,
Like,
if
it'll
you
be
gonna
like,
go that route,
you
if
know
you
what I
going
mean?
back 38 weeks, then like this.
like, yo, and I mean, it's like, and it, you know, it's one of those things too where it's like you don't have to feel threatened by it. I mean, but then again, that only comes with time, because in the beginning of a relationship, I would say is the more fragile stage with that, as far as insecurity, because you don't really know this person and how they react to different situations. So you may not want to risk it. You're like, I don't know, you know what I mean? I may not put you in the element around this, or maybe I will, just to see how you would react to it. You know what I mean? So it could go both ways. And I think, like, you know, ultimately, if you're solid, you know what I'm saying, and you set that expectation from Jump Street, like, that's how, for me, I wanted to do it. Like, yo, like, all right, this is what it is. This is who I am. I'm not going to BS you about anything, so you already know up front. Whether it's good or bad, you got to take it as it is, you know what I mean? So later on down the line, it's not like, oh, like, I thought you said you were. It's like, nah, this is what it is, you know what I mean? I got these friends. It's not going to change. Or is it like, okay, everything is a pause in 2019. I can't even say I'm bendable. Hey yo. See, I said it anyways. I set myself up for the okie doke.
We had a whole discussion about that.
But I mean, it's like, yo, I'm reasonable. You know what I mean? It's like certain things. It's like, man, I really don't want to give up my friend Kim. Like, she's platonic, but she's very nice. Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, but there shouldn't be like so much
scenarios where I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. There's scenarios where like
This is a passionate subject.
the girl that you might have that one female friend that relates to all the niggas.
Right.
Automatically, that's a threat.
Yeah, I mean,
No, it depends on the relationship. I feel like that's obvious. Like, and like what I was about to say, there's no like, typically in a relationship, especially in a brand new relationship, boundaries are set. And typically when you are like, I'll have a lot of friends and I go out, and when I'm in a relationship, a lot of that stuff naturally kind of dies down and slows down to where you're not really having to tell me, don't do this, don't go out so often, don't do this, because it kind of dies down naturally. And so,
right.
I would want you to be comfortable with the folks that I'm around. And so I would make you a part of that. And not to say you come everywhere I go, or I want my friends to be your friends, but just so that you're more comfortable in like, okay, so for example, I have a friend, and no names, but she just started dating this guy, and it's a bunch of us. And she brings him around often, and I respect that a lot, because it allows him, because there are guys like that we hang out with, but it allows him to really see, you know, that it's nothing going on. Like, oh, they really brothers and sisters. Like, okay, it allows him to be comfortable so that when he goes home and when this person does like her picture, that he's not like, you know,
even then you're like, nah, son.
This
But
might
I
be
mean,
a front.
right? It could be a front. It could be, but you know what? Also,
That's
too,
crazy.
I would say like,
No,
so
scenarios like that have happened.
Pieces of shit.
Yeah,
That's why
abs-
guys are
abs-
pieces of
Ain't
shit.
shit to that
Abso-
point. They will
freaking
fake
lutely.
it out
Yeah,
to the
'cause-
point where they.
So, but
Guys
isn't a
there
red
has to
flag?
be some
They
sort of
wait,
trust
they
in the
wait.
relation. Otherwise, you'll get the same thing in return from your female and be mad and and like irritated and all this stuff. If you guys give each other that energy, that distrust, and all of that other stuff, like,
Because it's not about guys don't trust you, guys don't trust other guys.
Right.
so then I can say the same thing about females.
That's
Like,
a
it's not
fact.
that I don't trust you, I just don't trust her. But then there's no trust. If you're not trusting the guys, not me, and I'm not trusting the females, not you, then now we have this like
But here's
super
it's-
in the house
I feel
behind
you.
relationship.
This is just
That's where the
I'm
dilemma
biased.
kicks
Yeah,
in.
exactly.
Like, that's
yeah,
where
yeah.
the dilemma kicks. Because we understand men,
yeah.
and y'all understand women. We're
Right.
oblivious to what women may think towards us, and I
Right.
mean, it's obvious what niggas are thinking towards y'all. So,
Right.
but it becomes a battle of the genders now.
Right, yeah.
But I
It's
mean, do you think
crazy.
it's a
That's
red
crazy.
flag? Like, okay, because my thing, there was this girl I liked, and like she had nothing but guy friends, right? So it's like, do you think that should be a red flag? And I mean, I'm not saying that it can't be organic and all that, but
Nah,
so
if
you know
have
those girls that
nothing
are
but
like,
guy
yo, like I
friends-
don't get along with like other girls. Like, is that a red flag? Like, you know what I mean? Because it could be genuine. Like maybe on her end of it, like she's really thinking that's what it is, but I'm like, okay, come on now. Like, I'm already thinking crazy scenarios in my head. I'm like, nah, like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
It would depend based on people's experience, like what you've been through. If you've been in a scenario where you've been hurt, got caught cheating or caught your spouse cheating, like all that shit plays a role at the moment. So if your chick you caught and she tells you she ain't out with nothing but dudes, like.
Yeah.
I mean, it just raises to me.
Let's
Let's say the probabilities of certain things happening is raised, right? Statistically, it's like you're always around guys.
Like,
what
all
are
these niggas is not your brothers.
Yeah,
yo, that's the thing. Like, and it's like, yo, it's like it's a fake. Like, it's like, yo, because even guys would be doing that. Like, they try to be white nice or whatever. It's like, yo, like. Oh, it's my sister, and it's like, nah. So niggas, like, you know, in the back of your mind,
niggas will
like,
flip the script and act
in
gay to play the role. Like, yo.
Hey, 4Day told us about that on the last podcast. Remember? So you know what I mean? Like, crazy. You know what I mean? Y'all go check that out. The whole
script to play the role and just keep it hush.
Yeah, that was crazy. Y'all gotta go back to the last episode to check that out. But I mean, my thing is too is like, again, like,
what episode was that? Episode 6.
Yeah,
episode 6 out now.
Yeah, go get that. So
go get that.
iTunes, wherever it's everywhere. So you know what I mean. It's just like
SoundCloud, YouTube, Sonik Gemz.
You already? So I mean, I don't know, man. So
like,
what you know what I mean?
That's a never-ending battle.
Yeah,
I don't think you'll any side will have closure to that
it's
part
never
of
closure.
Like if a nigga has too many females, it's a problem. If a female has too many niggas, friends, it's a problem. Friends, we're talking about friends. Relax.
Yeah, just friends.
Like it's a problem. Like there's no comfort zone on each side.
That's true.
Is it only a threat when you feel like that person's friend from the opposite sex or whatever is attractive? Like, well, everybody's definition of that is different, but to you, would you feel more threatened if his female friend, let's say she's a good friend, almost like maybe best friends, you know what I mean? If she's like, oh, she's precious, you know what I mean? So it's like, I'm not worried about that. Like, if that's his thing, then this guy's on something else, you know what I mean? So, but my thing is like, if she's like whoever, like, you know what I mean? Whoever is a pretty girl, it's like, okay, you're like, well, can it really just be that? Can it really just be platonic? Like, because you judge it based off, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like,
think guys and girls can be just friends,
right? Like, because a guy, you're looking at him like, well, he chose me, so what is it about me that he likes? And necessarily looking at her, like, even as a girl, like, I'm like, I get it, right? So why wouldn't he? Like, it doesn't make, but it could be an actual separation of the two. Like, you may just really not have that attraction between each other, but you'll never know because you're not in that person's, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not in that person's head, so you're not going to really ever know, because what are the chances they're just going to tell you that? Anyway. They're not going to be honest with you. Like, oh, you're the best. You got everything that I want. Like, and it's like, yo, you see this guy? Like, this is Haitian Momoa. You know what I mean? Like, I can't compete with that. Just saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it goes, and I mean, I feel you with the insecurity thing, but I think, you know, it does make it easier, though. I think the older you are, the more experiences. Like, if you've had kids already, if you've had certain things, it's really not.
There's a lot to take into account when you trying to weigh these options or set these scenarios in mind. Like,
right, that's true. There's so many different factors.
Yeah, there's so many different factors to take in, especially the older you get.
That's
and
true.
you brought up another point. Kids, past marriages, past relationships, these motherfuckers still might have stalkers.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't want to get involved
That's
in
true.
like that. Yeah. I'm not going that. I'm not playing that game. Nigga. If I walk out your house at 4 in the morning, I don't need a nigga in the bush. Like, yo, who you? Like, you ain't the mailman. Nigga, get the fuck out my face. But it's just so many different factors to take into consideration with why people think the way they think, move how they move, act the way they act. Like, it's just no telling.
Right.
Well, I
and
mean,
then if like, what's the new thing now? Check on your strong friend. If you don't ask these questions to just anybody in general, you'll never know. Like, what's your mindset like?
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely, man. And I mean, you know,
because I heard this earlier, like, you know, just proper conversation etiquette. Like, yo, how you? Like, do niggas really want to know how you, or is it just like say cool and keep it moving?
That's true.
They don't really
want
to know.
Thing. It's just a thing to say.
Yeah,
like,
what up, my dude? How you? Like,
I was just,
no
literally
more,
just talking about this with one of my good friends. It's like, yo, like, it's a crazy question when you ask somebody, like, yo, how are you, or whatever. It's like, it's such an ethereal question. Like, why are you asking?
Like, now I'm
this?
at a point, like, if somebody tell me, yo, I'm good, I'm like, you not, but I'll take it.
Yeah.
It's like, talk to me, my
Ever
dude.
had somebody like really tell you how they're doing? Like, man, it's crazy. I just got put out my house. My car just got, and you like, whoa, that's heavy.
But see, nobody's just gonna
Legal
open
tender.
up. Nobody's
Just
gonna open up off
expecting
the
the
initial how
good.
you. Like, you gotta, like, listen. You gotta help them understand, like, I'm genuinely concerned for your state of being, your state of mind. Like, you can't just be like, "How you, man? They kicked me out and I lost my job." Like, nah, nobody want to put themselves on blast like that. Like, yo, my nigga, you in a safe place. We've known each other for X amount of times. If you going through it, I sense you're going through something. Let it out, my nigga. Like,
I had a light bulb just now when you said that, because, like, I think, like, what it is too. I don't know if there's like what is that defining moment? Like, cause you know, there's a separation, right? Like, you got your homies, you got your like inner circle, whatever. Like, you know what defines it, but I can't think of it off top. Like, what is it that cause I feel like it's not a conversation. You just kind of know through different situations. Like, you're like, yo, that's my nigga right there. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it's almost like it's understood. You know what I mean? Like, I got you know what I mean?
It's the way certain chemistries hit, and like you said, the longevity of a friendship, depending what certain experiences you go through, you know, like, that's my man's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think you're just waiting for that person to, you know, that person's not gonna judge you.
That's what it is,
You know what I mean?
And I think when you put yourself out,
understand.
you like, yo, I tell you like the craziest shit that's going on with me, so it's really no reason. Like, it makes you want to tell, you know what I mean? Because you're like, okay, he has just as much to lose as I do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
And even so, like as a friend,
yeah,
I'ma ask. Like, say if you fall, for instance, and that's just if you fall, for instance, my first thought is like, yo, you alright?
yeah.
Once you tell me you good, then we can laugh about it after. Or I'm gonna cut some jokes.
Yeah.
You may not think it's funny, but I'm gonna cut some jokes to lighten the mood.
I'm not even gonna front. That
to lighten the
happened to me last
mood, to
night.
change the scenario a little bit.
I was hanging out with Burst City homies. Big ups to Burst City.
Shout out to Bird City.
Shout out to Bird City.
And I was helping them move. They got like mad equipment, so I'm like moving the equipment. It's dark. We're like at the back of this spot or whatever, and it was dark. I was just like nobody around because I looked around. I had the equipment, and I don't know. It was crazy. It was like some wires, so like it wrapped around my foot, and it was just like I knew it before it was about to happen. Like, I was like, shit, I'm about to bust my ass. You know what I mean? And then, sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And it took me a minute to get up. Like, I was just like I was on the ground, and I just remember I was like, yo, this is so beautiful. I started laughing at myself, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, it's so pathetic. Like, I'm just stuck on the ground. Like, I couldn't even get up. Like, it took me a second, and I looked around, and like nobody saw, like, thankfully. And it's not even that deep, y'all, but it was just a moment, and I'm thinking, like, you know, your friends, they're gonna be real with you. They're not gonna be fake. You know what I mean? It would be nice for somebody to not like literally judge you and stuff, but we all judge. You know what I mean? It's just about like people that use that against you. You know what I mean? Because to me, if you're not using it against me and it's just between us or whatever, like, it's just whatever. You know what I mean? It's good.
So Des, final question of the evening.
Okay.
Final question.
Oh, drum roll.
I know. It's like dun dun dun.
He got the little sweat dropping, like, oh shit. What's he about to ask me?
No, of course not.
Oh, I got one. And I meant
shit.
to ask it earlier. My bad.
No, go ahead.
Because you mentioned earlier about, you know, you wanted your guy to be a leader and, you know, all that good stuff. So where is your submissive level?
So I am learning to grow into being more submissive.
Learning to be more
that's
submissive.
honest.
That's an honest
That's
answer.
an honest
That's
answer.
a dope and honest answer.
Let me tell you why I say that, because I'm on this journey. Like, you know, I'm growing as a woman, as a person, more wiser every single day. That's my hope. And so in that journey, like, I'm learning, you know, to choose my battles wisely, what's worth saying, what's not, when to speak, when to be quiet, those sort of things. And so in that journey, then I am learning, like my desires in the guy is changing, and like my behaviors as a woman is changing. And so when you ask me what are my submissive levels, they're not what they used to be, because back then I wasn't looking for a leader in the man. Like I wasn't, you know, like I was just as like what I wanted. I want this right here. You know what I'm saying? Like certain things. And so
it's not a surface level.
Yeah, like I'm growing into that. I'm growing to desire that, and the more I desire it, the more submissive I become, and the more willing I am to be more submissive to whoever.
So I mean, as you can see, that's we as guys don't know shit, and we're trying to figure it out.
So I just keep coming up with questions. My bad, because this is good content. Shit.
Yeah.
I have a question too.
Uh-huh.
I guess let me ask this one first because it kind of goes with your question. But like, how do you all handle a woman being submissive? Because all guys can't handle that. Some guys take it too far and do too much with that.
It depends on.
It depends. I respect it. I appreciate it. I definitely try not to take it too far. Like, I'm not gonna take advantage and be like, I'm just gonna walk all over you. Like, no. As a man, you still have a responsibility to act accordingly. So, a level of submissions, I mean, it's tricky for men, because men, we say the wrong thing, it's a wrap.
Yeah. I mean, but you know what? Just to let me say, my man right here, he's SOS. You know what I mean? So I think, like, you know, I don't know if I'm answering your question right, but I think that it's not so much how I handle it. It's like, if she's being genuine, right? Because there's like false submission and there's genuine. Because sometimes the false one, that's the thing that gets me. Because then I'm like skeptical. I'm like, is this for real? Because especially when you've been with somebody for a minute and they're trying to be better, you're like, I'm not used to this. I like it, but
you paranoid now.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, am I about to get murdered? Like, what's going on, right? So submissive is like looked at disrespectful. Even that word, it's like submissive. I'm not your slave. You know what I mean? So I think that's what it kind of sounds like.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't want to make it sound like that. Like,
but it's servitude.
Yeah.
Like, if you're in a relationship, like the more you water each other, you're gonna blossom, right? So I don't look at it. It's like I'm a very affectionate guy, so it's like I'm gonna give you a massage. You don't have to ask me for that. Where some guys are different. Not every guy's that physically affectionate guy.
Right, tend to.
Yeah. So, but then again, like I said, I'm not an only child. I have a brother and sister. Shout out to my bro and sis. But I grew up an only child, so it's like, you know, I was really close to my mom. I don't really like the term mama's boy, but that's what it is. You know what I mean? So it's like I would give my mom back massages and stuff like that. That's just what it was, you know. So to me, I'm very keen on.
I think for the Caribbean world, I guess most guys are.
Yeah. I mean, we love our
Caribbean
moms,
men.
bro. I can't even
hold our moms to a different type of standard.
I
Like,
think I look at submission a lot different in a sense. I think I look at submission in the sense of saying, for a woman to be, and we're talking about this day and age now, for a woman to be totally submissive for me means that I'm taking care of everything. In other words, all the bills, everything that comes along with that, her job is to just be my wife or the mother of my children.
Yeah.
That's your job. And it becomes where I know that we're like, yo, you know, you should be submissive anyway, regardless of how it is. Yeah. And most of us, we already do that. You know what I mean? We already take care of the majority of shit anyway. So we're like, you already take care of the majority, so you should just be submissive. But it almost takes a precedent of, you ain't got to worry about shit. Your job is to just do this. Now, when it comes down to to me, submission means you also know I make the final decisions. That's how I feel. You're submissive to me saying, I believe in your leadership. You're going to make the final decision. If things go awry, how we handling this, babe? If we got to do something, it's like, how we going to go about doing this? This is how we're going to do it, because I'm submissive to that because I know you're going to make the right decision. I think a lot of the times the way women feel like they don't want to be submissive because they don't know if the man is going to make the right decision.
Right. If you can't trust that, then it's harder for you to submit to his authority, to his decision making.
Exactly.
But if you trust in his leadership, then it should be easier for you to want him to.
Exactly.
I feel like we got to expound on that though too, because
exalt
like,
that because you're like, yo, I don't know if a woman feels uncertain in any way, she's gonna pull back. She's gonna be like, I don't know. Well, this is what I think we should do. So on and so on moving forward. Then you deal with the friction. Like, babe, I said, I think we should do this. She's like, no. Because, nigga, you led me this way before. It didn't work out.
Right.
But here's
I think if you...
I slightly disagree with that.
You see what I'm saying? But even though because there's a lot of ways to look at it.
Yeah.
But if we're looking at it from a realistic...
Just in general,
general.
I agree with that.
It's like, we got to be like, yo, okay, well, he's leading me. I know he's leading me in the right way. Mm-hmm. Even if it may not be the right way all the way, she's still like, he's not gonna do anything that's going to affect me or the children if there's children involved. Mm-hmm. I get it. He's like, yo, he's doing his best. That nigga's gonna stand in front of the bullets.
Right.
I get that.
Yeah.
Bullets come, he's standing right in front of it. He's gonna take all of that to make sure I get the fuck out of the way. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. I'm gonna be able to listen to that. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna sink that in. All right, cool. You make the final decision. If you ever seen Run's House, Run DMC,
Mm-hmm.
y'all seen that shit?
I love that.
Okay.
I love
you see how his wife is always like, yo, I don't know if whenever a decision comes in, she's like, we gotta ask daddy. It's not about her being weak.
Right.
It's her saying, it's a respect thing. Okay,
right.
Yeah. We got to ask daddy because daddy's the leader of the house. Mm-hmm. We're still going to discuss it between us.
Right.
If he says A, we're still going to be like, well, babe, I think B. And that's where I think a lot of the time, sometimes we get confused. Not us here, but just like in general, men sometimes get confused by that because we think that they have to listen to everything that we're saying all the way. The leader is the guy that's like, babe, you're right. Your way is the right way, not mine.
Right.
You know what? All right, bet we're going to do C or we're going to go left because I was thinking go right.
But this is what makes me feel like I'm really glad I'm not a woman, man, because I don't think I could do that. When I put myself in that kind of mind frame, like to me, it's like don't get me wrong. This is going to sound again like a contradiction. I agree because you have to have rules, for things to work. But I think here's why I think it's tough, right? Because for one, as far as the submission thing and providing financially, I agree with that. If you want to make a girl your wife and a mother your children, like by all means, I think you should. However, a woman, I want a woman that believes in me before stuff comes to fruition. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't just believe in me after, because that's easy. Oh, you believe in me now because I'm making millions, but you weren't supporting my dreams when I was, hustling.
No, but I think it's more about...
You didn't want me to go out on the weekend, but how else am I supposed to make it?
No, but I think that's a bit different, Neff. I think we're thinking about more life decisions.
Sorry, I got passionate.
Yeah, no. And you know what? I agree.
It's the cranberry.
I agree with that. You weren't with me shooting in the gym. I'm shooting in the gym, right?
You're right. That was a little bit, yeah.
But I think it's more of saying, Des, you could tell me if you feel that I'm wrong in this, as in the female perspective. Yeah. I think it's more of the saying, you as the man, you have to be able to say she's right. Your way is the right way, not mine. And that's hard for me.
No, but I mean, do you ever find yourself in a position? I mean, it might not be all. Most of the time, yes, you exude that confidence of leadership and you are steering the ship. But I feel like there's plenty of times where you could find yourself like, in the sense of a family, I guess it depends what dynamic we're talking about. Like, yes, we're gonna ask, daddy's the household head or whatever. But like certain situations, you're gonna need guidance from your woman too. And I feel like let's not get that confused for like not being a good leader. You know what I mean? Because I need you to really be like a woman. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
you gotta accept that. What I'm saying, I know exactly where you're going with this. 100%. You're pretty much saying, yo, you gotta accept what I'm saying. Yeah. Don't just dismiss what I'm saying and saying you're just right without accepting what I'm saying. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. Right. That's exactly what it is. Because sometimes women will be like, nah, what you're saying is not right.
Yeah.
It's like, no. It's like you have to take into consideration what I'm saying. as I'm taking what you're saying into consideration. So like, yo, okay, babe.
That's where the compromise is.
That's where the compromise comes in. But you
Communication,
can't dismiss that I'm being a leader in that.
That's like being a good manager at your job. If you're a manager at work and you manage all of these people, you still have to take into consideration how this person likes to be spoken to, how this person learns, how this person, what this person feels would be a good, team building exercise. When I used to be a manager at the bank, I took, what do you think about X, Y, and Z? Because if I was just saying, all right, guys, today we're going to do this, whether you like it or not, then am I a good manager? I'm not a good manager because I'm not taking into consideration everybody else's feelings. And so that's the same way as the leader of the household. There has to be a leader. Somebody has to take that spot. You can't have two leaders in a household. That's conflict and confusion.
That's a,
You know what I'm saying? And so somebody has to.
Oh my God.
So if we're deciding, okay, you're going to take the role in the household as leader, I'm submitting to your leadership. It doesn't mean everything you say is right. It doesn't mean that you don't communicate with me and ask me how I feel about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? We still communicate. We still make decisions. Yeah. Oh, wait, yeah. What do you think? Yeah, I think that's great. All right. All right. Go ahead and say it. What we doing? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have the final say what we're doing or whatever. Like you know
I don't care what y'all say. Hold on. Let me interrupt the airways right now. I don't care what y'all talking about right now. To this day, Destiny for president. You know what I'm saying?
To this day.
2020. Day. Y'all heard that, women? You got to take it in as you give it out. You got to take it. And I think that's a beautiful
Submission's important. It doesn't matter. It's not, and it doesn't have to do anything with income. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm submitting to, we're both contributing. We both paying bills together. It's not weakness.
So
it's not weakness. It's respect.
How much more different is it for a female when a man is submissive?
Does that even sound right to you?
No, it does.
It does.
It
does.
can.
I'm gonna tell you why. Cause I know. Oh my God. I'm gonna tell you why.
What? I missed that. I'm like, that didn't even sound like my ears hurt. I'm like,
what? It's a fact.
Right.
What?
Told you it's submissive.
Oh my God.
When a man is submissive to a woman. Okay.
You know how guys.
That drives me crazy.
Do you know how guys? Do you
that.
know how guys interpret how you guys look at us? We're thinking about that shit all the time.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, yo, man, you think I'm a pussy?
Yeah, word.
I'm strong in my shit.
Yeah.
I'm asking you how you feel because I care about your goddamn feelings, but this is how I feel about this. Really?
Right.
But I'm taking that into effect that sometimes women will make a guy feel like he's not being enough of a man by not doing certain shit.
And that's what I was going with earlier. Like, some
What do you
women
mean?
might see that
Like,
as
enough of a man by doing certain stuff like what?
They see that as a weak, as a male being weak. It's not an alpha.
Absolutely.
Right.
What? By doing what though? Like, what is seen
Because
as
it's
being
like,
weak?
okay, like, let's say I might be going way off. If I am, y'all pull me back. Pause. Is that a pause? I don't know. I just had to say it just to, you know what I mean? It's insurance.
Right.
All right. So anyways, you gotta have good insurance in these streets.
You got one in the pocket.
Yeah, you got one in the pocket. You get one.
So like, like, you ever been out? Like, let's say it may not even be like double dating, but like you're just out with a group of friends. Everybody got their couples, whatever, and like, I don't know, for some reason, I think this happens to everybody. I'm trying to find a way to word it, but it's like there's that guy that's like, he's flexing. Like, he's saying all the things that seem like macho, whatever you want to call it. And it's like, yo, it's easier to say it when you're outside of a situation. Like, realistically, when you're inside of a real relationship, you know what I mean? There is going to be those moments where, like, yeah, like, I'm not trying to be this facade. Like, I'm being real with you. I mean, yes, I'm a man by default, obviously, but it's like I'm looking at you, like, in your eye, like I'm telling you, like, yo, like, I'm just, where are we at with this? You know what I mean? And so whenever you kind of, it's a slight, like, demasculation or whatever, now I'm like, word. So now from here on out, you see what I'm saying? It's going to be a little different. And then it kind of ruins things, too, because you don't want to be that. But then it's like, where's the balance? You know what I mean?
What do you mean, like, being emotional what causes the...
I mean, to me, it's like, what it is because I think there's this expectation of certainty, right? And certainty to me, like, okay, goes kind of hand in hand with confidence. Like, if you have confidence, it means you're certain, you're sure that this is going to be the outcome, whether or not it's going to be. You're just like, I'm going to shoot, it's not going to miss. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, like if it misses, you know what I mean? I don't think that's reason enough, like to just be like, okay, like I'm not following your leadership, or like
she's gonna ride with you whether or not.
Yeah, like you should be, because the thing is, like that's not realistic. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're seeing me grow, and you should be able to see a growth. Like 5 years from now, you're like, yo, like.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you're really,
absolutely.
not that you were off from the beginning, but I've seen the growth. So a lot of people come with these expectations like it's already the finished product, and it's never the finished product. You could be probably 70 years old and y'all are still going to be learning.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I just think the reason why there's not a real respect, which I think is really psychological, stems back from slavery, but we're not going to probably get into all that. But I think that's really where it's been ingrained, especially in I can only speak for our women and our culture or whatever. Like, it's like, because we were put in situations where we weren't able to provide, not because I don't want to or I'm not capable of it. It's just like, look at what I'm going through right now. You know what I mean? So I have the weight of the world on my shoulder. Plus I'm trying to cater to you. Plus, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just too much at a certain point. So where do we run to? And then again, also like we talk about, it's like, we don't really talk to other guys about that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it becomes too heavy. And you're trying to, again, kind of maintain this role and stuff. So, I mean, I think we're kind of answering some of that, because I feel like basically this is what it is. It's like, look, like you have to kind of just be honest and have those conversations and then reevaluate yourself. You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of times people just kind of, they start at one point and then just stay at that and they never check in. You know what I mean? It's like you got to check in constantly to be like, okay, where are we at? You know what I mean? Like, do you need me to drive for a little bit? You know what I mean? And it could be financially, it could be in so many different areas, because it's that doesn't make him less of a man. If he's going for his dreams, his visions, I'm not saying like, of course we know the difference between somebody who's not trying and somebody who's trying, but it's just like, that is being a leader to me, because you're taking a risk. You know what I mean? Like, to be that brave to do that, you know what I mean? And of course you're still doing your best to make sure things get done and needs are met, but I want you to believe in who you know I can be. Like, the greatness, the reason why you got with me in the first place. Why did you choose me out of everybody else? Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. Obviously, you saw something in me, so keep that same energy.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Just to piggyback real quick so we can end the podcast right now.
We can never end it.
We can never end it. But I think, literally, submission, I don't think it's a weakness. That's for all women listening. It's not a weakness to be submissive. And men, I don't think it's a weakness to be we all have to be submissive at a certain point and in certain junctures with our partners. So a woman is going to lead in a certain way. We have to allow her to do that too. Yeah. We can't lead in every way. Right. I don't know everything, right? That's good. And your woman is gonna know things or see things that you don't even see. You're like, I don't even know where the fuck she saw this shit from. This shit's the truth. Yeah. I don't even know how that happened, but she saw it. But you have to be able to, as a man, she's waiting for you to be like, yo, all right, cool. We're going this way. I'm leading this way. And we're gonna go this way. This is where we're gonna end up. And I believe that where we're gonna end up is going to be safe for me. Wherever he leads me is going to be safe for me. We can argue on the way. We could beef about left or right, north or south, east or west. But wherever we go, he's going to make sure I'm safe. And if there's kids involved, that the kids are going to be safe. I think that's where it comes down to leadership. That's where it comes down to safety. And that's when it comes down to submission. And in this, unfortunately, nowadays, women feel a bit unsafe. They feel like, I don't know if a guy is going to lead me in the right way and then not shit on me when we get there. That's where a lot of women feel scared. They're like, damn, we got here. This nigga done up and left. He dropped me off. This nigga left. like this nigga just left me here. I don't even know how I'm going to turn left, right, or east or west. Like, I don't even know. Because I let this nigga lead. Yep. Right, now you lost. You see what I'm saying? Now you led her to be lost. Mm-hmm. And that's what women fear. So you have to be confident in yourself and saying, okay, babe, look, what are you thinking? You thinking we're going to go left? Bet we're going to go fucking go left. I'm going to take all the bullets. Fuck it, we're going to do this. Bet we're going boom. Left was in the right move. Fuck it, we're going right. I'm taking all the bullets. Right too. Bet, let's do it. We're going right. Oh shit, right was the right way. Now we're going right. Bet we're here. I'm with you still. I'm not going nowhere. I'm gonna keep protecting you, right? And that's where I think women feel they have to feel secure in that. Once they feel cool in that, then they're all right. Then they're gonna follow you wherever.
Right.
You
I know that sounds.
They're gonna be good.
You got to be able to weather the storm too. You know what I mean? It's just a difference. Like, look at Michelle Obama. You know what I mean? Like, that's a crazy position to be in. You know what I mean? Like, you're the first lady. Y'all black. You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot of bullets. You know what I mean? So to me, that's I salute her. Shout out to.
So
you know what I mean?
That's just to close it off. So we're about to wrap up. What do you think? Do you think that it's about a matter of a man just knowing his leadership? If it's wrong or right, he takes a strong path. You follow it. He takes the bullets. He deals with it, and he gets, even if it's wrong, he gets you past the wrong.
Right. So that's important, like what you're saying, taking the bullets, because, and then like to your point, it's not going to be, there are no guarantees because we're both human. But earlier you mentioned like watering each other and growing with each other. And that's an important, in my opinion, like in a relationship, that's an important like perspective, because, or point rather, like, because when I say I want you to lead me, I'm not saying to $1 million a year. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that all of your decisions are going to be right. Don't ask me nothing. Just make the decision. Like, that's not what I'm saying either. So I am asking that we communicate, like, that we make decisions together, like that sort of thing. And that if you are chasing your dream, that, like he said, you're willing to take the bullet if it goes wrong. Like, but I need your support. So, like, as long as you're supporting me and this is what I'm trying to do, as long as I know you got my back, if it goes wrong, I got another plan. Like, like, just trust me in that. And so that's security as well. Security doesn't always mean a guarantee, in my opinion. Like, security means, and if this doesn't work, then we can try this. Like, that you got a plan and that you're willing. Like, if you fall, like, I know we're going to get back up. I got us. Like, that sort of thing. Yeah. And so that's my opinion on that, my whole closing on that. I think leadership is very important. Nobody's perfect. And so you will have trials and tribulations. You will fall. But it's a hope in most relationships, any relationships, that you guys can, like, lean on each other, rely on each other, glean and pull and pour into one another in order to grow and to get to whatever space that y'all are trying to get into. So
amen.
Bars. Y'all about to make a gangster cry.
I think it was amazing. This Sonik Gemz, man, you guys, whoever was listening to this one, you guys have learned a lot, because I learned a hell of a lot.
A lot of good hits. Yeah, I'm about to go home.
I gotta step my whole
give a massage. Like, I got you.
my whole game
I
up
do the
right
massage
about
thing
now.
already. Like,
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh
this
my
was
God!
fun.
Thank you for coming.
Sonik Gemz
Appreciate you
podcast.
coming.
You already know what
Definitely
it
not
is.
gonna
Destiny's
be
in the
the
building.
last.
Let's clap it up for
For
her
those-
one time in the
That was a
building.
good time.
One time.
For those that
Rachel
didn't know-
Revolt, the Dark of
Yeah.
Peter Parker. I'm gonna let you go ahead and do your whole speech.
You already know, baby. A Rachel Revolt. All right, I'm gonna stop playing with y'all. It's a Rachel Revolt. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry I was late. I was at a Haitian free tie. I had to eat. So,
he ain't bring no plates.
I know, no
He ain't
invite.
bring
That's
no
crazy.
doggy bag.
Look,
he ain't
yo.
bring nothing. He ain't even bring a toothpick.
I got no excuses.
no
I got no
excuses.
That's that.
And
I
We
gotta
all
take
peep
the
on
game,
business.
peep game. How he say it after the podcast, because how he said it when he came in, would have kicked his ass out. Yo, but this has been another episode of Sonik Gemz.
You
Thank
already
you all
know.
for listening.
You
Appreciate
already
you,
know.
Destiny, for coming in, kicking with us, and
Absolutely.
listening to our bullshit and giving us a
Mr.
different
D-Melo.
perspective. D-Melo live on the mic. You already know. Until
You
next
already-
time, holla if you don't blow your nose. Dig me?
You heard. Yeah, Sonik Gemz podcast. Thank you so much for enjoying Des. Thank you so much for coming,
Yeah,
dog.
Absolutely.
It was
Yeah.
great.
Been a
We hope you come back
pleasure. That was
again.
fun.
And we need this female perspective. Like I said, it's just mad niggas. in here. And we be mad hardcore. Niggas like, yeah, son, they wrong. Someone give a fuck. They wrong. We're right. Are we right?
And we leave here like, are we right? Call each other later. Are we right? Were we right?
Like,
We were wrong, though,
know.
right?
We were wrong.
I did
though.
research.
We was wrong, right? We was wrong.
I did research, and
Man,
it's not looking good, guys.
It's not looking good. We get into the first argument at the crib.
Don't even put
Yeah,
that.
that shit was trash. It was super trash. Like, forget about it. You already know what it is. Sonic Gems
Sonic
Podcast.
Gems.
You already know. Thank you so much.